Before you close your eyes, imagine for a moment the stillness of a single stone. While our days are measured in rushing minutes and hours, the earth beneath us measures time in millions of years. Tonight, we will borrow that ancient patience. We will slow our hearts to the rhythm of shifting tectonic plates and find deep, restorative rest in the bedrock of our world. Let go of the present and let us drift back to the quiet beginning of time. Before we begin, take a moment to find a comfortable position. Adjust your pillows, pull the blanket up to your chin, and let your body sink into the mattress. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. Let your hands rest loosely by your side. Tonight, we are not going to worry about the future, nor will we dwell on the past of your own life. Instead, we are going to escape to a place where time moves so slowly that it seems to stand perfectly still. We are going to visit the archives of the earth itself. Close your eyes and let the darkness behind your eyelids become a canvas. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a twilight forest. The air here is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine needles and damp, rich soil. Above you, the sky is a deep indigo blue, dusted with the very first stars of the evening. They do not twinkle, they glow with a steady, ancient light guiding your way. There is a path beneath your feet. It is not made of asphalt or concrete, but of white crushed gravel, fragments of quartz that catch the faint light of the moon. As you walk, the sound of your footsteps is soft and rhythmic. Crunch, pause, crunch, pause. It is a satisfying sound, grounding you in this moment. You follow this luminous path as it winds gently through the sleeping trees. The path is leading you toward a structure rising from the side of a gentle hill. As you draw closer, you see it. It is not a house nor a castle. It is the library of ancient stones. This library was not built by human hands. It feels as though it grew from the earth itself. The walls are high cliffs of polished granite, speckled with mica that glimmers like trapped stardust. The roof is not made of shingles, but of slate, layered thick and heavy, protecting everything inside from the wind and rain. The entrance is marked by two colossal pillars of basalt, dark and hexagonal, formed by the cooling of lava millions of years ago. You approach the massive double doors. They are carved from petrified wood, trees that turn to stone over eons, retaining the texture of bark but holding the solidity of rock. You reach out your hand. The surface is cool and smooth under your fingertips. Despite their immense weight, the doors swing open silently at your touch, balanced perfectly on hinges of iron and time. You step inside. The air within the library is different. It is still. It is the kind of silence that you feel in your chest, a heavy, comforting blanket of quiet. The temperature is perfect, a stable, earthy coolness that remains unchanged, day or night, summer or winter. It smells faintly of old parchment, dry clay, and the clean mineral scent of rain falling on hot stones. You are standing in the grand hall of geological history. The room is vast, extending upward into shadows where the ceiling might be painted with the constellations, or perhaps it is open to the night sky. It is hard to tell. The light here comes from soft amber lanterns that float effortlessly in the air, casting a warm golden glow over the room. Instead of rows of paper books with fragile spines, the walls are lined with shelves carved directly into the living bedrock, and on these shelves rest the stories of our world. But these stories are not written in ink. They are written in stone. Walk with me slowly across the floor. Feel the solidity beneath you. The floor is made of marble, cool and solid. Every step you take echoes faintly, a sound that reminds you that you are alone, safe and completely undisturbed. You approach the nearest shelf. Here, the books are geodes, rough and spherical on the outside. You pick one up. It is heavy, much heavier than a normal book. The weight feels good in your hands. It is the weight of reality, of substance. You gently pry it open. Inside, it is lined with thousands of tiny amethyst crystals, sparkling in the lantern light. This geode is a chapter from a time before dinosaurs, before trees. It tells a story of a gas bubble trapped in cooling lava, of water seeping in drop by drop over millions of years, leaving behind tiny minerals that grew in the dark, perfect silence. It is a story of patience. Nature was in no hurry to create this beauty. It took its time, and holding it, you realize that you too can take your time. There is no rush here. You place the geode back and continue deeper into the library. To your left, there is a section dedicated to the sedimentary archives. These stones look like stacked paper, layers of sandstone, shale, and limestone. You run your fingers along the edge of a piece of sandstone. It feels gritty and warm. This stone remembers the wind. It was once a vast desert filled with shifting dunes. The grains of sand were blown by ancient breezes, piling up, layer after layer. Then, under the weight of time, they were pressed together, turning from loose sand into solid rock. And by touching it, you are connecting with a wind that blew 300 million years ago. That wind is gone, but its work remains, calm and solid. The anxiety of that ancient day, if there was any, has long evaporated, leaving only this beautiful golden peace. As you walk further, the library seems to stretch on forever. There are shelves holding slabs of slate, dark and smooth. There are display cases holding jagged pieces of obsidian, black volcanic glass that looks like frozen water. In the center of the grand hall, there is a large, comfortable chair. It is upholstered in velvet, the color of moss, deep and soft. It invites you to sit. You lower yourself into it, and the cushions accept your weight, supporting your back, your legs, your head. From this vantage point, you look around at the millions of stones surrounding you. Think about what this place represents. In the world outside, we measure time in seconds, minutes, and hours. We stress over being late. We worry about tomorrow. But in this library, those units of time are meaningless. Here, the clock ticks in eras. The second hand measures centuries. The hour hand measures epochs. The stones around you do not know the meaning of hurry. The granite walls took 10 million years to cool from magma into rock. 10 million years of simply sitting still, underground, letting the heat slowly radiate away until the crystals were perfect and strong. The marble floor beneath your feet was once a coral reef, teeming with life in a warm tropical ocean. It took ages for those shells to settle, to compress, to metamorphose into the smooth white stone that now supports you. Everything here is finished. The work is done. The rocks are not trying to become anything else. They simply are. They have achieved a state of permanent rest, and by being in their presence, you borrow their stability. Imagine the energy of the earth seeping into the library. It's not a frantic, buzzing energy. It is a low, humming vibration, the frequency of the planet itself. It moves up through the marble floor, into the chair, and into your body. It starts at your feet. You feel a heaviness there, like your feet are turning into stone, not in a way that is stiff, but in a way that is profoundly relaxed, grounded, anchored. The feeling moves up your calves, past your knees, into your thighs. Your legs are heavy, sinking deeper into the velvet chair.
This geological relaxation moves into your hips and your lower back. The tension that you carry in your spine begins to dissolve, just as limestone dissolves under gentle rain, washing away the stress, leaving only the solid core of your being. Your chest rises and falls slowly. With every exhale, you release a little more of the day. You are breathing in the ancient air of the library, air that feels timeless. The sensation of weight moves to your shoulders. How long have you been holding them up? Let them drop. Let them fall like a rock falling to the bottom of a deep, quiet lake. Down, 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 sinking into the soft silt of the bottom. Your arms are heavy. Your hands are resting in your lap, fingers loosely curled. They feel like stones resting on a riverbed, water flowing over them, smoothing them, cooling them. Finally, the relaxation reaches your neck and your head. The muscles in your face soften. The space between your eyebrows smooths out. Your eyelids are heavy, so heavy that they feel like they are made of lead. You couldn't open them if you wanted to, and you don't want to. You are safe here in the library of ancient stones. Surrounded by the history of the world, your own problems seem very small. The earth has weathered storms, fires, ice ages, and meteors, and yet it is still here. It is still spinning. It is still solid. And so are you. You are part of this story. You are made of the same elements as the stars and the stones. The calcium in your bones is the same calcium that makes up the limestone cliffs. The iron in your blood is the same iron that colors the red rocks of the canyon. You belong here. You are home. In the distance, within the depths of the library, you hear a faint sound. It is not a noise that disturbs you. Rather, it lulls you deeper. It is the sound of water dripping in a cavern. Drip, drop, drip, drop. Each drop measures a moment. Each drop adds a microscopic layer to a stalactite that has been growing in the dark for 100,000 years. It is the heartbeat of the geology around you, slow, deliberate, peaceful. You look in your mind's eye at the high shelves one last time. You see a row of dark, heavy books labeled the Hadean. They are the oldest stories. They are the stories of when the earth was born. They are stories of fire and heat, but now on the shelf they are cold and quiet. They are sleeping. And as the earth sleeps, so must you. The amber lights in the library begin to dim slowly, fading to a soft, warm twilight. The shadows lengthen, wrapping around you like a heavy quilt. The silence deepens. The air feels even stiller than before. You are drifting. You are floating on a raft of continental crust, drifting slowly across a mantle of warm, dark dreams. There is no destination. There is only the drift. In a moment, we will open one of these ancient books. We will look back to the very beginning, to the lullaby that the universe sang when the world was new. But for now, just rest in the library. Rest in the safety of stone. Rest in the quiet of the bedrock. You are safe. You are heavy. You are relaxed. The library watches over you. The stones stand guard. They have stood for millions of years, and they will stand for millions more. You can let go. You can sleep. Now that you are settled and your mind has found a quiet place within the library of ancient stones, let us drift further back. Let us leave the solid marble floors and the cool air of the present behind. We are going to travel back through the mists of time, past the age of the dinosaurs, past the forests of giant ferns, past the very first silent bacteria. We are going back to the beginning, to the Hadean Eon. The name Hadean comes from the underworld, a place of fire. But tonight we do not see fire as something to fear. Tonight we see it as the ultimate warmth. Imagine the earth not as a blue marble, but as a glowing ember, gently pulsating in the velvet darkness of a young solar system. Float there in the safety of space, looking down at this newborn world. It is a sphere of deep, rich orange, vibrant red, and threads of molten gold. It is beautiful. It is the color of a dying campfire, the color of a sunset that never ends. It radiates a heat that you can feel even from here, not a burning heat, but a radiant, penetrating warmth that soothes deep into your bones. The earth is sleeping, but it is a restless sleep. It is a liquid world. There is no solid ground to be bumped against. Everything is fluid. Everything is soft. Watch the surface of this primordial ocean. It is not made of water, but of molten rock. Imagine the texture of honey or thick, warm caramel. This vast ocean of magma moves with a slow, hypnotic rhythm. It is the slow breathing of the planet. Watch as great currents of liquid rock rise slowly to the surface, glowing bright yellow, and then spread out, cooling to a deep red, before sinking back down into the depths. It is a slow-motion dance of convection. Rise, spread, cool, sink. Rise, spread, cool, sink. The movement is sluggish and heavy. It reminds you of how your own limbs feel right now. Heavy, warm, slow. There is a sound here, too. It is not the crashing of waves or the howling of wind. It is a low, constant hum, the sound of the earth forming itself. It is a deep, resonant vibration, like the purring of a giant cat or the lowest note on a cello, sustained forever. This vibration wraps around you. It creates a cocoon of sound that blocks out any noise from your daily life. There is only the low rumble of creation. It massages your mind, smoothing out the wrinkles of worry, melting your thoughts just as the rock is melted below. In this early eon, the earth was wrapped in a thick blanket of steam and heavy gases. The sky was not blue, but a hazy, soft gray and pink, filled with swirling clouds. This thick atmosphere acted like a swaddling cloth for the infant planet. It held the heat in, keeping the world cozy and protected. Imagine yourself wrapped in that atmosphere. It feels humid, dense, and incredibly safe. It is a weight that holds you down, keeping you from floating away. You are swaddled in the mists of the early world. As you watch the molten surface, you witness one of the most comforting processes in all of nature, the act of cooling. Heat is energy, and energy is activity. But cooling is rest. Cooling is the process of slowing down. For millions of years, the Earth simply focused on cooling down. It was in no rush. It let the heat radiate out into the cosmos bit by bit, breath by breath. Look closely at the surface of the magma ocean. As the heat escapes, you see the very first islands of crust beginning to form. They look like dark rafts floating on a sea of light. They are the first solids in the history of the world. Think of them like the skin forming on a cup of hot cocoa that has been left to sit, or like ice beginning to crystallize on a winter pond. These rafts of dark rock are the ancestors of the ground you sleep above tonight. Watch them drift. They bump gently into one another, thud, and fuse together. They are gathering strength. They are creating a shield.
This is the birth of the lithosphere, the rocky shell of the planet. It represents protection. It represents the boundary between the chaotic heat below and the quiet space above. As you visualize this crust thickening, imagine a protective shell forming around your own mind. The worries and racing thoughts of the day are like the molten heat. They are active and fluid. But now, a cool, dark crust is forming over them. You are sealing them away. You are putting a lid on the heat. The crust grows thicker, thicker, stronger. The glow of the magma is hidden beneath the surface now, visible only in the cracks, faint veins of red in a landscape of cooling gray basalt. The world is dimming. The bright, harsh light of creation is fading into a gentle twilight gloom. It is easier to rest in the dark. And as the earth cools, something else happens. The skies begin to change. The steam that has been swirling in the atmosphere for eons begins to condense. It gets heavy. The clouds lower. The very first rain clouds are gathering. But they do not release their rain just yet. They hang there, heavy and pregnant with the promise of water. The anticipation is relaxing. You know the relief is coming. You know the coolness is coming. But for now, stay with the warmth of the rocks. Imagine you could touch one of these newly formed rocks. It is black obsidian, smooth as glass. It is still warm to the touch, radiating the memory of the fire that created it. You place your hand on it. The heat travels into your palm, up your arm, and spreads across your chest. It is a grounding heat. It reminds you that underneath the cool surface of your life, there is a core of energy that is always there, sustaining you. You don't need to create it. You don't need to stoke the fire. It burns on its own, deep inside. You can just let it be. In this Hadean time, the moon had just been born. It was much closer to Earth than it is now. Imagine looking up through the hazy, steam-filled sky and seeing a massive moon 10 times larger than the one we see today. It hangs huge and silent in the sky. Because it is so close, its gravity is a physical sensation. You can feel the moon pulling gently on the Earth. It pulls on the molten rocks, creating tides not of water, but of lava. The ground beneath you rises and falls in a slow tidal breathing. Inhale, feel your chest rise like the Hadean crust. Exhale, feel your body sink deeper into the mattress. The Earth is not fighting this pull, it surrenders to it. It allows the moon to rock it to sleep. The entire planet is being rocked in the cradle of gravity. Back and forth, up and down. There were no trees to rustle, no birds to call out, no insects to buzz. The Hadean Eon was a time of profound, elemental simplicity. There was only rock, heat, and gravity. This simplicity is a gift. Your life is full of complexities, schedules, relationships, screens, demands. But here, in the deep past, none of that exists. There is nothing to organize. There is nothing to fix. The only task the Earth had was to exist and to cool. Just exist and cool. That is your only task tonight. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need to plan anything. You simply need to exist here in your bed and let your body cool down into sleep. Feel the heat leaving your muscles. The tension that was hot and tight is now cooling and hardening into relaxation. Your legs are like the cooling basalt, heavy, solid, unmoving. Your arms are cooling drifts of stone. Your eyelids are heavy plates of slate, sliding shut, blocking out the light. The chaos of the formation is over. The spinning has slowed. The collisions have stopped. The dust is settling. Picture the dust of the early solar system gently falling onto the surface of the new Earth. Tiny, microscopic motes of stardust falling like snow. They settle on the warm rocks. They fill the cracks. They soften the edges. Everything is becoming still.
The magma ocean has done its work. It has created the foundation. Now it rests beneath the crust, humming its low lullaby, keeping the world alive from the inside, but allowing the surface to sleep. You are safe on the surface. The crust holds you. The gravity holds you. The atmosphere swaddles you. Drifting further now, the orange glow is barely visible. The world is a dark, warm stone spinning silently in the void. You are spinning with it. You are no longer a separate being worrying about the day. You are a part of this cooling process. You are the rock losing its heat. You are the steam condensing into a cloud. You are the silence that follows the roar. The Hadean Eon is closing. The violent birth is finished. A long, deep peace is settling over the planet, a peace that will last for 1 billion years. Let that peace settle over you. Let the timeline stretch out, 1 million years, 2 million years, 10 million years. Nothing happens, just the slow cooling, just the quiet turning. It is so easy to sleep when you have 1 billion years to rest. Drift along the currents of time. Feel the warmth fading into a comfortable, cool darkness. The darkness is not empty, it is full of rest. It is the velvet curtain falling on the first act of the world. Deep down, the earth is still warm. Deep down, you are warm. But on the surface, everything is still. Quiet, heavy, ancient, asleep. As we move away from the Hadean Eon, we leave the fire behind. We look toward the sky, where the clouds are finally ready to open. We look toward the cooling rocks, waiting for the first touch of water. But that is the next chapter. For now, just float in the fading glow. Rest in the warmth of the primordial lullaby. Sleep now. Sleep in the cradle of the early earth. The earth has cooled. The violent red glow of the magma ocean has faded, replaced by a dark crust of solid basalt. The planet is no longer a star, it is a stone, but it is a dry, parched stone, waiting for a gift that has been gathering in the skies above. Leave the ground for a moment, float upward, rising through the jagged peaks of the first volcanoes, rising into the atmosphere. For millions of years, the sky has been holding its breath. The atmosphere is incredibly thick, heavy with steam released from the cooling rocks. It is a world of clouds, clouds so vast, so deep, and so dense that the surface of the planet is wrapped in perpetual twilight. There is no sun, only a diffused gray softness. The humidity is absolute. The air is so heavy with moisture that it feels like a heavy, warm blanket draped over the world. It is the feeling of a sauna, where the heat relaxes every muscle, where the moisture softens your skin. You are floating in this gray embrace. It is quiet here. The only sound is the wind, a slow, muffled breeze pushing these massive banks of steam across the globe. But now, the temperature is dropping. It crosses a critical threshold. The steam can no longer stay as gas. It must change. It must release. Listen. Somewhere in the vast gray sky, a single molecule of water clings to a speck of dust. It grows heavy. It begins to fall. It falls through miles of mist, gathering speed, until it strikes the warm, dark rock of the surface. Hiss. It evaporates instantly, turning back into steam. The rocks are still too hot. But then comes another drop, and another. Hiss, hiss, splash.
The battle between fire and water has begun, but it is a gentle battle. It is the sound of a hot pan being placed under a cool tap, a sound of relief, a sound of heat being washed away. And then the sky truly opens. This is not a rainstorm like you have seen in your lifetime. This is not a summer shower that passes in an afternoon. This is the great rain. This is the deluge that will create the oceans. Imagine the sound of rain. You know it well. It is one of the most comforting sounds the human mind knows. The rhythmic drumming on a roof, the soft patter against a window pane, the steady hush of a garden drinking in the water. Now multiply that sound by an entire planet. Every inch of the globe is receiving this rain. It is a wall of water falling from the heavens. It is a white noise so massive, so all-encompassing, that it drowns out everything else. Shh. Let this sound wash over your mind. Imagine you are safely tucked inside a dry, warm shelter, perhaps a cave of crystal or a cabin of cedar, listening to this primordial storm. You are perfectly dry, you are perfectly warm, but outside the world is being cleansed. The rain falls for a day, then a week, then a year, then a century. It falls for 1,000 years. It falls for 1,000,000 years. There is something profoundly relaxing about this consistency. There is no need to check the weather. The forecast is always the same. Rain. Gentle, relentless, cooling rain. It removes the need for decision-making. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You just need to listen. Visualize the water hitting the high peaks of the dark volcanoes. It runs down the slopes in rivulets, initially turning to steam, creating great wandering fogs that hug the ground. But as the rocks cool further, the water stays liquid. It begins to flow. Gravity, the great conductor of this symphony, pulls the water down. Water always seeks the lowest point. It is humble. It does not try to climb. It simply surrenders to gravity. Let yourself surrender like the water. The water gathers into small streams, weaving through the cracks in the basalt. These streams join together, whispering over the rocks, finding the path of least resistance. They slide over smooth stone, polishing it, cooling it, soothing the scars of the volcanic age. The streams become rivers, dark, warm rivers flowing through a lifeless, silent landscape. There are no trees to break the fall of the rain, no grass to soak it up, just rock and water. The rivers flow downward, searching for a place to rest. They find the great hollows of the earth, the vast empty basins that were formed when the crust split apart. The water pours into these basins. At first, it is just a puddle at the bottom of a canyon, then a pond, then a lake. Watch as the water level rises, inch by inch, foot by foot. The water is filling the empty spaces. It is covering the jagged, sharp edges of the crater floors. It blankets the rough ground in a smooth, flat sheet of liquid. This is the birth of the ocean. The water is not blue yet. It is likely green or brown, rich with iron dissolved from the rocks. It is warm, like a bath drawn for a giant. Imagine slipping into this primordial ocean. The water is buoyant, salty, and warm. You float on your back, looking up at the gray, raining sky. The raindrops tickle your face, cool and refreshing against the warmth of the water below you. You are weightless. The water supports you completely. You don't have to swim, you just have to float. The heavy mineral water lifts you up, taking the weight of gravity off your spine, off your joints. Around you, the basins are connecting, the lakes are merging, the isolated seas are joining hands to become one global ocean, the Panthalasic Ocean, the All-Sea. As the basins fill, the weight of the water presses down on the crust. The earth settles under this new, comforting blanket. The weight is grounding. It feels like a heavy quilt being pulled up over the planet's shoulders. The rain continues. It is a lullaby that never ends. Patter, patter, thrum, thrum. Think about the air. As the rain falls, it scrubs the atmosphere clean. It washes the dust and the ash out of the sky. The air becomes crisp. It becomes clear. The heavy haze is being transferred into the deep waters. The rain is washing the past away. Whatever heat, whatever chaos existed before, it is all being submerged. It is being put to sleep under a mile of water. The sound of the rain changes as the oceans grow deep. It is no longer the hiss of steam or the clatter on rock. It is the deep, resonant sound of rain falling into water, a soft plip-plop that merges into a continuous satin texture of sound. Listen to the water rising. It climbs the cliffs. It drowns the valleys. It creates a new horizon, a flat, calm line that stretches forever. Water is the ultimate symbol of patience. It wears down the mountain, not through force, but through persistence. It fills the deep, not with hurry, but with flow. In this chapter of Earth's history, there is nowhere to be but here. There is no land life to worry about, no forests to explore. There is only the rain and the rising sea. This era teaches us the art of saturation, of being fully immersed. Allow your mind to become saturated with sleepiness. Let the thoughts of your day dissolve like salt in this vast, warm ocean. Let them float away. They are small. The ocean is big. The rain that lasted 1,000,000 years did not worry about when it would stop. It just fell. You do not need to worry about when you will fall asleep. You just need to rest. Feel the cooling sensation of the rain on your forehead. It creates a rhythm for your breathing. Inhale, the steam rises. Exhale, the rain falls. Inhale, the clouds gather. Exhale, the water flows. The atmosphere is now clearing. After 1,000,000 years, the clouds are beginning to break, but we are not there yet. For tonight, we stay in the rain. We stay in the comfort of the storm. We stay in the cozy realization that the world is being bathed. Imagine the deepest part of this new ocean, down in the dark, miles below the surface. It is perfectly still there. The storm on the surface does not reach the bottom. The water there is heavy, dense, and silent. Sink down into that depth, down past the waves, down past the currents, down into the stillness. You are resting on the floor of the new ocean. The water above you is a shield. Nothing can reach you here. You are wrapped in the pressure of 1,000,000 years of rain. It is a pressure that feels like a hug. It holds you together. The sound of the rain is distant now, just a faint vibration in the water, a white noise that hums in the background of your dreams. The basins are filled. The planet is cool. The fire is gone. There is only the water, the beautiful, sleeping water. It cradles the continents. It soothes the fault lines. It reflects the gray sky. You are part of this water. You are fluid. You are drifting. The rain continues, a soft, eternal drumming that smooths the edges of your consciousness. Drop, 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 washing away the tension, washing away the time. Just rain, just water, just sleep. Let the 1,000,000-year rain carry you into the night. Float on the surface of the first ocean, deep, dark, and wonderfully asleep. The rain has stopped. The oceans are full. The atmosphere has cleared, revealing a sky of deep, endless blue. Now we turn our attention downward to the ground itself. In our daily lives, we seek stability. We want to know that the floor beneath our feet is solid, that the foundation of our house is unmoving. And indeed, to our human senses, the earth feels rigid. It feels permanent. But tonight, we are going to learn the relaxing truth. The earth is not frozen in place. It is moving. It has always been moving. But it moves with such incredible patience, with such gentle slowness, that it feels like stillness to us. Let us rise again in our imagination. Float up until you are high above the planet, looking down at the blue and green quilt of the world. From this height, the silence of space surrounds you. It is a velvet silence, thick and soft. Below you, the continents lie like great sleeping giants. You see the curve of Africa, the vast expanse of the Americas, the icy white stillness of Antarctica. They look like islands floating in the blue sea. And that is exactly what they are. Rafts of stone drifting on a deep, warm current. This is the era of plate tectonics. But let us not use the scientific terms of friction and force. Let us call it by its true nature, the slow waltz. Imagine a ballroom, a vast spherical ballroom that is the surface of the world. The dancers are the continents, but this is a dance performed in ultra-slow motion. How slow? Look at your own hand for a moment. Imagine your fingernails growing. You cannot see them grow. You can stare at them all day, and they will appear unchanged. Yet week by week, they lengthen. This is the speed of the continents. They move at the speed of a growing fingernail, 2 inches a year, maybe 3. There is something profoundly soothing about this speed. It is a pace that refuses to be rushed. In a world of high-speed internet, fast cars, and instant deadlines, the ground beneath you refuses to participate in the race. It keeps its own time, geologic time. Visualize the mechanism that makes this dance possible. Beneath the hard, cool crust where we live, there is a layer called the mantle. It is not liquid like water, nor solid like granite. It is something in between. Think of warm honey. Think of soft, pliable wax. Think of thick, slow-moving molasses. This is the asthenosphere. It is hot, heavy, and viscous. It flows, but it flows over millions of years. The continents are resting on top of this slippery, warm layer. They are not anchored, they are gliding. Let's travel back in time to watch this waltz begin. Go back 200 million years. Look down. The Atlantic Ocean does not exist yet. The Pacific is vast and lonely. All the land masses of the world are huddled together in one massive supercontinent, Pangaea. It looks like a hug. All the lands we know, home to billions of people today, are embracing one another. South America is nestled perfectly against the curve of Africa. North America is leaning gently against Europe. Australia is tucked warmly against Antarctica. They are resting together, a family of stone. But the music of the earth changes. The heat deep within the core shifts. The currents in the warm honey of the mantle begin to turn. The waltz must continue. Watch with the patience of a mountain as the separation begins. It is not a violent tear. It is a slow, gentle letting go. Imagine 2 lovers' hands, fingers interlocked, slowly pulling apart. The friction is minimal. The release is gradual. A rift forms between South America and Africa. At first, it is just a valley, then a narrow river, and then the ocean rushes in to fill the space. This is the birth of the Atlantic, but it happens so quietly, inch by inch, year by year. The gap widens, the water fills the void, cooling the edges of the continents as they drift apart. They are not fleeing from one another, they are simply drifting to new places on the dance floor. Visualize the motion of South America moving west. It glides with the majesty of a great ship. It carries the Amazon rainforest, the Andes mountains, the deserts and the plains. It carries them all without spilling a drop of water from a leaf. That is how smooth the ride is. The plate beneath the continent is heavy and thick. It absorbs all vibration. It suppresses all shock. It is a magic carpet of rock flying in slow motion across the globe. Now look to the north. See North America drifting away from Europe. They were once neighbors. Now a vast ocean lies between them. But the connection remains. Deep under the ocean, the mid-Atlantic ridge is gently creating new floor, paving the space between them with fresh, cooling rock. It is a process of creation, not destruction. The earth is making more room. It is expanding its chest, taking a deep breath that lasts for eons. Inhale, the ocean widens. Exhale, the continents settle. There is no rush to get to the destination. In fact, there is no destination. The journey is the only point. Turn your gaze to the Indian subcontinent. Watch it travel north. It moves across the Tethys Sea, a solitary traveler on a long voyage. It is heading toward Asia. When we hear the word collision, we think of noise, we think of a crash. But in the language of geology, a collision is a slow-motion embrace. Watch India meet Asia. The two massive plates touch. There is no bang, there is only pressure, immense, silent, steady pressure. Because neither wants to sink, they decide to rise together. This is the most majestic part of the waltz, the birth of the Himalayas. Imagine the ground buckling, folding like a thick blanket being pushed together on a bed. The rocks are lifted up, higher, higher. It takes 10 million years for the mountains to rise. If you were standing there, you wouldn't see them moving. You would just see a hill, and then a slightly higher hill, and then a peak. Mount Everest, the roof of the world, is the result of this silent patience. It is still rising today, growing by a fraction of an inch every year. It is growing as you sleep. The mountain is not straining to grow. It is simply yielding to the pressure, rising into the thin, cold air, becoming a monument to slow motion. Now bring your awareness back to the present moment, back to your bed. Realize that you are lying on one of these great rafts.
Whether you are in North America, Europe, Asia, or anywhere else, you are riding a tectonic plate. Beneath the foundation of your building, beneath the soil, beneath the bedrock, the great plate is floating. You are being carried. You are moving right now. But the ride is so smooth, so perfectly engineered by nature that you cannot feel it. You are safe. The plate you are on is thick, miles and miles of solid rock protecting you from the heat below. It is a shield. It is a cradle. Imagine that the continent is rocking you. It is a movement too slow to perceive with the body, but your mind can understand it. You are drifting. The tension in your body is like the tension in the rocks. It can be released. The earth releases its tension by shifting, by adjusting, by finding a new comfortable position. You can do the same. Shift your shoulders, adjust your hips, find that position where your muscles can stop holding on. Just as the continents float on the mantle, let your muscles float on the bed. Let your bones be heavy like the granite.
Let your blood flow warm and slow like the currents of the inner earth. The waltz continues in the silence of the night. To the west, the Pacific Plate is sliding gently past California. To the south, Antarctica sits heavy and still, anchored by ice, the quietest place on Earth. To the east, Australia pushes slowly northward, taking its time. Everything is in its right place. Everything is moving exactly as it should. There are no errors in this dance. There is no clumsiness, only the perfection of physics and time. Think of the energy required to move a continent. It is infinite, massive energy, and yet it is used so gently. It is power under complete control. You can surrender to that power. You don't need to hold the world together. The tectonic plates have it under control. They are holding the oceans. They are holding the mountains. They are holding you. Feel the solidarity of the earth. It is 4.5 billion years old. It has been dancing this waltz for most of that time. It never gets tired. It never stops. It just drifts. Drifting. Drifting. You are a passenger on a ship of stone, sailing through the sea of time. The stars above are watching the ship move, but to them, you are almost still. The stillness is the gift. Allow the image of the map of the world to fade in your mind. The lines between the countries dissolve. The names of the oceans disappear. There are only shapes of land, dark and warm, floating on a sea of dreams. The gap between the continents is the gap between your thoughts. Let it widen. Let the silence fill the space. Let the Atlantic of your mind open up, wide, deep, and blue. Let the mountains of your worries smooth down into plains. The waltz slows down even more. The music fades to a whisper. The movement is so subtle now that it feels like hovering. You are hovering in the sweet spot between waking and sleeping, supported, carried, drifting. The continents will keep dancing while you sleep. They will travel a tiny fraction of an inch tonight, carrying you safely into tomorrow. Trust the ground. Trust the drift. Trust the slow, silent waltz of the world. Sleep now. Float on the raft. Drift into the deep. We have watched the continents drift like rafts on a slow-moving sea. Now we turn our gaze to what happens when those rafts meet. We look to the horizon, where the earth touches the sky. We look to the mountains. There is a word in geology that sounds like a spell from an ancient book, orogeny. It comes from the Greek oros for mountain and genesis for creation, mountain creation. When we stand at the foot of a mountain range, we feel small. The peaks seem eternal, immovable, and finished. But tonight we will learn their secret. They are not finished. They are not still. They are growing. They are rising, but they are doing it with such profound slowness that it looks like perfect stillness. Let your mind travel to a landscape of peace. Imagine a vast open plain. The grass is soft and golden, swaying in a gentle breeze. In the distance you see them, the mountains. They are wrapped in a shawl of purple mist, their peaks dusted with white snow. They look like the backbone of the world, and in many ways they are. To build a mountain, you need patience that the human mind can barely comprehend. You need millions of years of silence. Let us visit the elders first. Let us travel to the eastern United States, to the ancient Appalachian Mountains. If rocks could dream, the Appalachians would be dreaming of their youth. Long ago, before the Atlantic Ocean even opened, these mountains were young and jagged. They stood as tall as the Himalayas are today. They pierced the clouds with sharp, angry peaks. But that was hundreds of millions of years ago. Time has been kind to them. Time has softened them. Visualize the Appalachians as they are now. They are the old mountains. They are rounded. They are covered in a thick, lush blanket of green forests, oak, hickory, maple, and pine. They roll across the landscape like sleeping giants huddled under a green quilt. Imagine walking along a ridge in the Blue Ridge Mountains or the Great Smokies. It is quiet here. The air smells of damp earth, decaying leaves, and sweet pine resin. The fog hangs low in the valleys, a soft white sea that separates the peaks from the world below. These mountains are no longer rising. They are resting. They have done their work. They have reached for the sky, and now they are settling back down, inch by inch, grain by grain, returning to the earth. There is a deep comfort in these old mountains. They teach us that it is okay to soften. It is okay to lose your sharp edges. It is okay to let the moss grow and the trees take root. You do not always have to be striving upward. You can just be. Feel the stability of the Appalachians. They are the solid foundation of the continent. They have weathered storms, ice ages, and scorching suns, and yet they remain solid, gentle, green. Now let us leave the comfort of the old mountains and travel halfway across the world to witness the energy of youth. Let us go to the Himalayas. Here the air is thin and crisp. The sky is a darker shade of blue, closer to the void of space. Here the mountains are not green and rounded. They are gray, black, and blinding white. They are sharp. They are majestic. This is where the Indian plate, as we saw in our last chapter, is pressing against Asia. Close your eyes and try to visualize the physics of this rise. It is not a violent crash. It is a slow, relentless squeeze. Imagine a stack of heavy blankets lying flat on a bed. Now imagine placing your hands on either side of the stack and very, very slowly pushing your hands together.
What happens? The blankets buckle. They fold. They rise up in the middle, creating a soft peak. This is exactly what the Earth is doing. The crust is folding. Deep underground, miles beneath the snow-capped peaks, the rock is under so much pressure and heat that it does not break, it bends. It behaves like stiff dough. It folds over on itself, layer upon layer, pushing upward, up, up, up. The rise is microscopic, 5 millimeters a year, maybe 10. If you sat on the summit of Mount Everest and waited for a year, you would have risen about the height of a sugar cube. It is a movement so subtle it is indistinguishable from stillness. But over millions of years, that sugar cube becomes a mile. Think about the silence of this process. There is no machinery, there are no engines. There is just the sheer, raw power of the planet operating in total silence. Climb in your mind to the high, snowy passes. The sound of the world below has vanished. There is no traffic, no voices, no wind in the trees, because there are no trees here. There is only the sound of your own breath. Inhale, exhale, and the sound of silence. Snow is one of nature's greatest sound absorbers. It dampens vibration. It muffles the world. In the high Himalayas, the silence is physical. It presses against your ears like a soft pillow. In this high, quiet place, you can feel the isolation. But it is not a lonely isolation. It is a majestic isolation. You are above the clouds. You are above the weather. You are above the problems of the lowlands. The mountain underneath you is solid granite. It is the hardest rock, forged in the depths, now lifted to the heights. It is unshakable.
Feel that unshakable quality entering your own body. Your spine is a mountain range. It supports you. It holds you upright during the day. But now, as you lie down, it is supported by the mattress. You are grounded. Imagine the weight of the mountain. It is heavy, but it is not burdened. It simply sits. It rests on the mantle with absolute confidence. It is not afraid of falling. It is too big to fall. You are too safe to fall. You are anchored. Let's go deeper into the rock itself. Imagine the layers of stone, limestone, sandstone, shale that were once at the bottom of the ocean. Fossils of ancient sea creatures are now sitting at the top of the world. This tells us that everything changes. The lowest point can become the highest point. The ocean floor can become the summit. Life is a cycle of rising and falling, and right now, your cycle is calling for rest. The mountain does not rush to touch the stars. It knows it will get there eventually. It has all the time in the universe. Why do you rush? Why do you hurry? The mountain says, slow down. The mountain says, be still. Visualize the snow falling on the peaks at night. The sun has set, painting the snow in shades of indigo and silver under the moonlight. The stars come out, millions of them, looking closer than ever before. A single snowflake falls. It lands on the granite with no sound. Another falls, and another. They are building a glacier, one flake at a time, just as the mountain rose 1 millimeter at a time. Big things are made of small moments. A good night's sleep is made of small breaths. Don't try to force sleep. You cannot force a mountain to rise. You simply allow the conditions to be right, and it happens. Allow your body to be heavy like the rock. Let your legs turn to granite, heavy, cool, and still. Let your chest rise and fall like the gentle slopes of the Blue Ridge. Let your mind become as clear and empty as the air above Everest. There is no conflict here. The collision of the continents is a creative act. It is building something beautiful. Any tension you feel in your life is just pressure waiting to be turned into a mountain. It is just potential energy. But for tonight, let that energy be still. Let it freeze into the majesty of the peaks. The mountains are the guardians of the world. They block the storms. They catch the rain. They feed the rivers. They watch over the valleys where we sleep. Imagine you are nestled in a small, warm cabin at the very base of these great mountains. Outside, the sheer vertical walls of stone rise up, blocking out the wind, blocking out the noise. You are in the shadow of the mountain. You are protected by its bulk. The mountain has been standing there for 50 million years. It will be standing there when you wake up. It is not going anywhere. You don't need to hold it up. You can let go. Let your awareness sink down from the snowy peaks, down through the clouds, down through the forests of the Appalachians, down into the bedrock. Sink deep into the crust. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. The deeper you go, the slower time moves. The orogeny continues in the dark, silent depths. The earth is slowly, carefully arranging itself. It is a work in progress, and so are you. But even a work in progress needs to rest. Even the mountains need the cover of night. Feel the majestic slowness of the tectonic press. It is a hug from the earth itself, squeezing you gently, holding you tight, keeping you safe. The mountains are rising. The snow is falling. The world is turning, and you are sleeping. Silent, majestic, inch by inch, breath by breath. Rest now in the shadow of the giants. Rest in the silent rise. Sleep. We have stood on the high, cold peaks of the Himalayas. We have watched the snow fall and the mountains rise. But now it is time to leave the surface entirely. The surface is where the weather happens. It is where the wind blows, where the seasons change, where life hurries back and forth. We are seeking a place where the weather cannot reach. We are seeking a place of absolute consistency. Let your awareness sink. Imagine you are passing down through the floor of the room you are in, down through the foundation of the building, down into the soil, past the roots of the trees, past the burrows of sleeping animals. You sink through the cool, damp limestone and the hard, gray granite of the crust. You are going deeper than any mine, deeper than any ocean trench. You are crossing the threshold into the vast, hidden interior of the world. Welcome to the Mantle. This is the largest part of the Earth. It makes up more than 80% of the planet's volume. It is a world unto itself, a world of darkness, heat, and incredible slowness. When we think of the underground, we often imagine caves or hollow spaces, but there are no hollow spaces here. Everything is full. Everything is solid. Yet, in this strange and beautiful deep earth physics, solid does not mean frozen. Imagine the texture of molasses, thick, dark, and heavy. Now imagine that molasses is made of rock. This is the substance of the mantle. It is rock, mostly a green mineral called olivine, but under the immense pressure of the miles above it and the heat from the core below it, this rock forgets how to be hard. It becomes something else. It becomes viscous. Viscous is a wonderful word to whisper to yourself as you lie in bed. It implies a resistance to flow. It implies a reluctance to move. It is the opposite of rushing. The mantle is not in a hurry. It moves, but it moves with a slowness that defies human imagination. Picture a jar of honey sitting on a windowsill in winter. If you were to turn it upside down, the honey would not pour. It would think about pouring. It would slowly, imperceptibly begin to bulge downward. The rock of the mantle is 1,000,000 times thicker than that cold honey. If you could paint a dot on a piece of mantle rock and come back in a human lifetime, 70 or 80 years, that dot would have moved perhaps the length of your thumb. That is the speed of the deep earth. Allow your mind to sink with this speed. Your thoughts are often like water, splashing, running, evaporating. But tonight, let your thoughts become like the mantle. Let them become thick. Let them become heavy. Let them slow down until they are barely moving at all. There is a tremendous warmth here. It is not a burning, destructive fire. It is a compression heating. It is the warmth of 1,000 heavy blankets piled on top of you. Imagine being wrapped in a blanket made of warm, dark stone. It presses against you from every side, from above, from below, from the left, from the right. This pressure is not crushing, it is holding. It is the concept of a weighted blanket taken to a planetary scale. This pressure holds you together. It prevents you from scattering. It anchors you. In this deep place, there is no light, but if you could see, you would see a deep, glowing red, the color of embers in a dying fire, the color of deep relaxation. The mantle is not stagnant, however. It is breathing. It is circulating. Visualize the great convection. Deep down near the core, the rock gets hot. It becomes slightly lighter, slightly more buoyant, and so over millions of years it begins to rise, 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 rise. It rises like a slow-motion bubble in a lava lamp that has been frozen in time. It takes 50 million years for a current of rock to travel from the bottom of the mantle to the top. 50 million years for one deep breath. And when it reaches the top, just beneath the crust where we live, it cools slightly. It becomes heavy again, and then it begins the long, slow fall back down into the depths. Fall, fall, fall. This is the heartbeat of the Earth, a cycle that takes an eon to complete one beat. You can rest your mind on this cycle. You don't have to wait for it to finish. You just have to know it is happening. A massive, silent, rotating engine of heat that keeps the planet alive. Think of the silence down here. On the surface, silence is fragile. A car horn, a bird, a notification on a phone can break it. But the silence of the mantle is robust. It is thick. Sound waves cannot travel well through this viscous, soft rock. They get absorbed. They get muffled. This is a silence that has not been broken for 4 billion years. It is a sanctuary. Imagine yourself floating in this thick, warm substance. You are suspended. You are weightless because the pressure supports you equally from every side. You are like a fossil trapped in amber, preserved in a moment of perfect peace. You don't need to use your muscles here. The mantle holds you. You don't need to use your eyes. There is nothing to see but the warm dark. You don't need to use your voice. There is no one to talk to, only the rocks. Feel the heaviness in your own body now. Your legs are becoming heavy, like columns of basalt. Your arms are sinking into the mattress, heavy as iron. Your head is heavy, sinking into the pillow, supported by the earth. The boundary between your body and the bed begins to blur. You are melting just a little. You are becoming viscous. You are flowing down into the mattress, becoming one with the slow gravity of the world. Think about the mineral olivine that makes up most of this space. It is a beautiful olive green crystal. If you could see the mantle, it would be a vast, shimmering ocean of green crystals, glowing with heat, moving like a slow tide. You are resting on a bed of crystals deep inside the earth. There are no sharp edges here. The heat has softened everything. The pressure has smoothed everything. In our daily lives, we feel we must be quick, we must be sharp, we must be agile. But the mantle teaches us the power of being slow. It teaches us that you can move mountains, literally, without ever rushing. It teaches us that strength comes from depth, not speed. The mantle is the slumbering giant that carries the continents on its back. It does all the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Let the giant carry you. Imagine the heat radiating up from the depths. It moves through the floor, into your bed, and into your bones. It softens the marrow. It loosens the knots in your shoulders. It unspools the tension in your jaw. Warmth, darkness, thickness, time. These are the ingredients of the deep earth. These are the ingredients of deep sleep. Drifting deeper now, the surface world feels very far away. The concerns of tomorrow, emails, errands, conversations, are miles above you, separated by layers of solid rock. They cannot reach you down here. They are light and airy. You are deep and grounded. You are in the asthenosphere, the weak sphere, the soft sphere. It is okay to be soft. It is okay to be weak right now. You don't have to be strong while you sleep. You just have to yield. Yield to the gravity. Yield to the warmth. The movement is so slow, it is almost stillness. So slow. Like a pendulum that takes a century to swing. left, right. You are part of this slow swing, rocked by the planet.
Held by the geology. Deep in the mantle, there is no day or night. There is only now. A continuous, warm, eternal now. Let yourself dissolve into it. The honey is cooling. The flow is stopping. The rock is settling. You are safe in the center of the world, wrapped in the deep slumber of the mantle, heavy, warm, asleep. We have journeyed deep into the fiery heart of the planet, into the thick, slow-moving mantle. But now, let us return to the surface. Let us come back to the place where the earth meets the sky. Here, under the light of the sun and the moon, a different kind of magic is happening. It is not the heavy, crushing power of the deep earth. It is a gentle power. It is a soft power. It is the power of the touch. In our world, we often think of stone as something permanent. We say, etched in stone, when we mean something cannot be changed. But the earth knows better. To the earth, stone is just clay waiting to be sculpted, and the sculptors are the two gentlest hands of nature, the wind and the water. Tonight, we will watch them work. We will witness the art of erosion. But let us not call it erosion, which sounds like a loss. Let us call it smoothing. Let us call it polishing. Imagine yourself standing in a vast, quiet canyon in the American West. The landscape is painted in shades of rust, ochre, and soft orange. Towering walls of sandstone rise up on either side of you. It is perfectly still here. The only sound is a soft breeze moving through the canyon floor. Whoosh. The wind is invisible, yet it is the master artist of this landscape. Pick up a piece of sandstone from the ground. It feels gritty. It has sharp edges. It is rough. Now, look at the canyon wall. There is a magnificent arch spanning the sky, a bridge of stone that looks like it was carved by a laser. Its curves are perfect. Its surface is smooth. How did this happen? It happened one grain at a time. Visualize the wind carrying tiny microscopic grains of sand. It flows over the rock like a silk scarf, but within that silk there is the tiniest bit of friction. Every time the wind blows, it brushes against the stone. It whispers to the rock, "Let go." And the rock lets go. One single grain of sand detaches and joins the wind. It is a process so slow that a human lifetime is not enough to see a change. But the wind has time. The wind has nothing but time. It caresses the sharp corners of the cliff, day after day, century after century. It rubs away the jagged points. It sands down the rough patches. Think of the wind as a soft file, smoothing the edges of the world. Now, think of the sharp edges in your own mind, the worries that feel spiky, the thoughts that feel rough. Imagine the gentle wind of the canyon blowing through your mind. It is not blowing hard. It is just a breeze. It passes over your thoughts. It softens them. It rounds them off.
The sharp peaks of your anxiety are being sanded down, blown away into the desert, leaving only a smooth, quiet curve. The wind teaches us that you do not need a hammer to change the world. You just need persistence. You just need to keep breathing. Now, let us move from the dry desert to a cool, shaded forest. Listen. Can you hear it? A gentle, trickling sound, a melodic bubbling. We are standing on the banks of a mountain stream. The water is clear and cold, flowing over a bed of rocks. Step closer to the water. Look down at the riverbed. What do you see? You see river rocks. They are famous for their shape. They are perfectly round. They are ovals of gray, blue, and speckled white. They look like eggs made of stone. Reach your hand into the cool water and pick one up. It is heavy, cold, and incredibly smooth. It feels wonderful in your hand. There is not a single sharp edge on it. You can run your thumb over it again and again, and it feels like polished glass. But this stone was not always this way. Once, 1,000,000 years ago, it was a jagged chunk of granite that fell from a high peak. It was sharp, it was angry, it was full of fractures. Then the river took it. The river did not fight the stone, it simply held it. It tumbled it. Imagine the journey of this stone. It has been rolling downstream for eons. It bumps gently against other stones. Clack, clack, clack. Every bump is a lesson in letting go. Every time it rolls, a tiny sharp piece breaks off and becomes sand. The water washes over it, polishing it, caressing it, smoothing it. The water is patient. It flows day and night. It never stops. It wraps the stone in a cool, liquid hug and says, "Relax, soften, be round." And the stone obeys. It becomes aerodynamic. It becomes gentle. It becomes beautiful. This is the art of patience. The water does not try to break the rock with force. It uses the power of flow. Allow your thoughts to enter this stream. Let them be the stones. Usually, our thoughts are jagged. They have sharp edges that catch on things. They get stuck. But tonight, drop those thoughts into the river of your sleep. Let them tumble. Let them roll.
Feel the cool water washing over them. Clack, clack. The edges are breaking off. The sharpness is dissolving. Your thoughts are becoming round. They are becoming smooth river stones. They are heavy, but they are easy to hold. They settle at the bottom of the stream, resting in the soft silt while the water flows over them. Clear, cool, constant. Now let us follow the river to its end. Let us follow the wind to its destination. Where does all that eroded rock go? Where do the sharp edges go when they are removed? They become sand. We are now at the edge of the ocean. It is twilight. The sky is a soft purple, fading into the dark blue of the sea. Before you lies a beach that stretches for miles. It is white, powdery, soft sand. Walk out onto it. Take off your shoes. Feel your feet sink into the surface. It is soft. It is yielding. It molds perfectly to the shape of your foot. This sand is the masterpiece of geology. Every single grain of sand on this beach was once a mountain. It was once a boulder. It was once a jagged cliff. But time, wind, and water have transformed it. They have broken it down, not to destroy it, but to soften it. They have turned the hard, unyielding world into a cushion. There are billions of grains here, trillions. Each one is a tiny monument to patience. Lie down on the sand. The sand is still warm from the sun of the day. It accepts your weight completely. Unlike a hard floor, the sand shifts to cradle you. It supports your lower back. It cradles your shoulders. It holds your head. You are resting on the history of the earth. You are resting on mountains that have learned to relax. Grab a handful of sand. Let it pour through your fingers. Sss. It flows like liquid. It is dry, clean, and soft. The art of erosion is the art of becoming soft. Nature is constantly moving toward softness. The jagged peaks become rolling hills. The rolling hills become plains. The rocks become sand. You are part of nature. You too can move toward softness. You do not have to be a mountain tonight. You do not have to be a hard rock standing against the wind. You can be the sand. You can let go of your structure. You can let go of your rigidity. You can just lie there, warm and heavy, and let the tides of sleep wash over you. Listen to the waves hitting the shore, crash, and then the long, fizzy silence of the foam retreating. Hiss. The ocean is bringing more sand. It is smoothing the beach. Every wave wipes the slate clean. If there were footprints in the sand, the water erases them. If there were drawings, the water smooths them out. Let sleep be your tide. Let it wash over your brain. Let it erase the footprints of the day. Let it smooth out the furrow in your brow. The wind is dying down now. The air is still. The river has reached the sea. The work is done. The sculpting is finished for the day. You have been smoothed. You have been polished. You are no longer rough. You are calm. You are no longer sharp. You are comfortable. Drifting, sinking into the warm white sand. The geology of the world is holding you. The result of billions of years of work is a soft bed for you to rest on. Accept the gift. Feel the gentle abrasion of sleep removing the last tiny speck of tension. Smooth, quiet, patient. The stone sleeps, the sand sleeps, and so do you. Rest in the art of the wind. Rest in the arms of the water. Sleep. We have walked the beaches of soft sand. We have felt the wind smooth the canyons. But now the air grows still. The wind dies down completely. We are leaving the open sky behind. We are going to visit a place that has never seen the sun, a place that has never felt the rain, a place where the only weather is a slow, silent crystallization. Imagine you are holding a rough, round stone in your hand. It looks ordinary. It looks like a dusty potato or a lump of gray concrete. It is heavy, unpolished, and scarred. To the outside world, it is nothing special. But you know the secret. This is a geode, and inside this rough shell lies a hidden world. Tonight, we are not going to break the geode open. That would be too loud, too violent. Instead, we are going to dissolve into spirit. We are going to shrink down, smaller than a grain of sand, smaller than a molecule of water. We are going to pass through the solid rock wall like a ghost. Press your hand against the rough gray surface. It feels cool and solid, but as you push, the stone yields. You slip through the microscopic pores of the chalcedony shell. You pass through the barrier of the outer world. And now you are inside. Welcome to the secret garden. You are floating in the center of a hollow sphere. It is a cavern, but it is a cavern of jewels. Because we are deep underground, it should be dark, but in our dream, the crystals have their own inner light, a soft ethereal bioluminescence, like the glow of fireflies or the shimmer of moonlight on snow. Look around you. The walls of this spherical room are lined with thousands of perfect, sharp, hexagonal points. This is a city of quartz. It is the most silent place you have ever been. In the forest, there is the sound of leaves. By the ocean, the sound of waves. But here, inside the stone, the silence is absolute. It is a vacuum of sound. It is a silence that protects you. It wraps around your mind like velvet. Let's look at how this garden grew. It is a history of patience that rivals the mountains. Millions of years ago, this was just a bubble of gas trapped in cooling lava, a simple empty pocket, a void. But nature abhors a vacuum, and so groundwater, rich with silica, dissolved liquid glass, began to seep in, drop by microscopic drop. It didn't rush. It didn't flood the chamber. It just misted the walls. And then the magic began. The atoms of silica began to arrange themselves. They didn't just pile up like the sand we saw earlier. They organized. They held hands. They formed a lattice. One atom locked into place, then another, then another. They were following a geometric blueprint that is written into the very fabric of the universe. They were building a hexagon. Visualize this process. It is the opposite of chaos. It is perfect order. When you feel anxious, your thoughts feel scattered like leaves in a storm. But here, in the crystal garden, everything is aligned. Every molecule knows exactly where it belongs. There is no confusion. There is only structure. Let that sense of structure seep into you. Imagine your thoughts aligning like the atoms in a crystal, orderly, clear, still. You drift closer to a large cluster of amethyst. The crystals are purple, a deep royal violet at the tips, fading to a pale translucent lilac at the base. This color comes from tiny traces of iron caught in the lattice like a memory of the Earth's blood. Reach out and touch one of the giant crystal points. It is perfectly smooth. It is perfectly cold. The coldness is refreshing. It is like placing a cool cloth on a feverish forehead. It draws the heat out of you. It draws the stress out of you. Run your hand down the side of the prism. You can feel the facets, flat, smooth planes that were polished by nature itself. No human hand ground these facets. They grew this way. They grew into perfection because they were left alone. That is the lesson of the geode. Beauty grows in solitude. These crystals did not need an audience to become beautiful. They did not need praise. They grew in the dark, in the silence, simply because it was their nature to be beautiful. You too can grow in the dark. You too can find peace in solitude. You don't need to be performing right now. You just need to be. Float to the center of the geode and lie back in the air, suspended by the zero gravity of this inner world. Above you, below you, all around you, the ceiling and floor are paved with diamonds of quartz. They twinkle in the soft light. It feels like you are inside a star. Think about how slow the growth was. A large crystal might take 10,000 years to grow an inch. 10,000 years. During that time, on the surface, dinosaurs might have walked and died. Ice ages might have come and gone. Civilizations might have risen and fallen. But inside the geode, nothing changed. Just the slow, silent addition of one more molecule. Just the quiet perfection of the hexagon. This place is a time capsule of peace. The air inside the geode is ancient. It has been sealed away from the pollution and the noise of the modern world. Breathe it in. It tastes crisp. It tastes mineral. It tastes like clean ice. Inhale the clarity. Exhale the confusion. Focus on the tip of a single crystal point. See how sharp it is. It points toward the center, toward you. But it is not a weapon. It is an antenna. It is focusing the energy of the earth. Crystals are stable. They are the most stable form of matter. They do not change. They do not rot. They do not wither. If you were to fall asleep here and wake up in 1,000,000 years, this room would look exactly the same. There is such comfort in that consistency. You don't have to worry about the future here. The future is the same as the present. Static, beautiful, frozen. Let your body mimic the crystal. Let your bones feel like the sturdy quartz. Let your skin feel cool and smooth like the polished facets. Let your mind become clear, transparent, allowing the light to pass through without resistance. There are other minerals here too. Maybe a puff of white calcite, looking like a snowy cloud resting on the purple spikes. Maybe a streak of golden citrine, warm and glowing. But mostly it is just the deep, soothing purple of the amethyst. Purple is the color of twilight, the color of the sky just before it goes black. It is the color of sleep. The darkness of the geode is deepening now. The internal light is dimming, turning from a glow to a glimmer. You are safe inside the rock. The thick walls of chalcedine and basalt protect you. The crushing weight of the earth is outside, but inside, the arch of the stone holds it all back. You are in a bubble of protection. Listen to the silence again. It is a ringing silence, a crystalline silence. Ping! It vibrates in your ears, a high, sweet frequency that clears away the noise of traffic and talking. You are part of the horde. You are a treasure hidden in the earth. Treasures don't move. They wait. They wait in the dark to be found. But tonight, you don't need to be found. You just need to stay hidden. Hidden from the alarm clock. Hidden from the phone. Hidden from the demands. Curled up in the center of the geode, a small sleeping seed in a garden of stone flowers. The crystals are watching over you. They are the sentinels of stillness. They have mastered the art of doing nothing, and now they are teaching it to you. Feel your eyelids getting heavy. They feel like they are turning into thin sheets of mica, shimmering, heavy, and sealing shut. Your breathing slows. It matches the geologic rhythm. One breath for every century. In, out. The secret garden is closing its doors. The light fades to black, but it is a warm, sparkling black. You can still feel the presence of the crystals around you, the order, the structure, the peace. You are crystallized in sleep, perfectly still, perfectly safe, perfectly at rest. Sleep in the garden of glass. Sleep in the heart of the stone. We leave the hidden crystal garden now. We leave the darkness of the geode and rise up, up, back to the surface of the world. But the world we return to is different. The warm tropical seas have gone. The humid forests have vanished. We have arrived in the Pleistocene. We have arrived in the time of the great ice. Imagine stepping out into a landscape that is perfectly silent. The air is crisp, pure, and cold. It is the kind of cold that feels refreshing, like a sip of ice water after a long, hot day. It wakes up your senses for a moment, only to lull them into a deeper rest. Before you lies a world painted in shades of white, silver, and the deepest, most electric blue.
You are standing at the edge of a continent, but you cannot see the ground. The ground is sleeping under a blanket of ice that is 1 mile thick. This is the glacial age. In our modern lives, we often think of ice as something sharp, something that cracks or breaks. But on this scale, ice is different. When ice gets this big, when it gets this heavy, it behaves like a liquid. It flows. Tonight, we will surrender to the flow of the glacier. Visualize the massive sheet of ice before you. It stretches from horizon to horizon. It is a sleeping giant, heavy and dormant. It looks still, but it is moving. It is always moving. It moves with a slowness that makes the movement of the tectonic plates seem fast. It moves inches per day, sometimes only feet per year. There is a profound comfort in this weight. Think of the pressure of the ice pressing down on the land. It is a heavy, grounding pressure. The earth itself actually bends under the weight of the glacier. The crust creates a depression, a cradle to hold the ice. Imagine that heavy, comforting weight pressing down on your shoulders. It is the weight of a heavy winter quilt. It presses the restlessness out of your muscles. It presses the fidgeting out of your limbs. You are pinned down in the most gentle and safe way by the gravity of the ice. Let us travel to the head of a valley, perhaps in the ancient Alps or the high Sierras of California. Here a glacier is beginning its journey. Snow falls softly on the peaks. Hush, hush. The snow piles up. It does not melt. Summer comes, but the air remains cool and the snow stays. Winter returns and more snow falls, layer upon layer, year upon year. The weight of the new snow presses down on the old snow. It squeezes the air out. It transforms the fluffy white flakes into hard, dense ice. As the air bubbles are squeezed out, the ice turns blue. Picture this color. It is not a painted blue. It is a blue made of light and density. It is a glowing, ethereal aquamarine. To look into a crevice of a glacier is to look into the heart of a sapphire. It is a cool, calming light that soothes the eyes and cools the mind. Now feel the movement. Gravity pulls the heavy ice down the mountain. This is the glacial caress. A river of water rushes and tumbles. It is noisy, it is chaotic. But a river of ice slides. It is a slow, powerful slide. The bottom of the glacier is grinding against the bedrock. But do not imagine a harsh scratching sound. Imagine a low, resonant hum, a vibration that travels through the earth. The glacier is a sculptor. Before the ice came, the valleys were shaped like the letter V. They were sharp, they were narrow, they were cut by fast water. But the glacier changes everything. As the ice moves through the valley, it widens it, it rounds it out. It transforms the sharp V into a gentle, curving U. Visualize a U-shaped valley. It looks like a cradle. It looks like the curve of a hammock. The glacier is carving a bed for the earth. It shears off the sharp cliffs. It rubs away the jagged spurs. It takes the rough, chaotic landscape
and smooths it into long, elegant lines. This process creates something called glacial polish. Imagine the weight of the ice acting like sandpaper. It grinds the rocks into a fine powder called rock flour. This powder acts as a polish. When the glacier finally melts away, thousands of years later, the granite walls of the valley will be smooth to the touch. They will shine in the sun. Yosemite Valley, with its smooth, towering walls of El Capitan and Half Dome, was sculpted by this slow caress. Imagine the ice moving over those rocks right now. Slide, grind, smooth. It is an act of erasure. The glacier erases the scars of the land. Let the glacier move through your mind. Imagine your thoughts are the jagged rocks. They're sharp and cluttered. Now visualize a massive, cool wall of ice moving slowly over them. It doesn't rush, it doesn't get angry, it just advances. It pushes the clutter away. It grinds the sharp worries down into fine dust. It leaves behind a smooth, U-shaped valley in your mind, a wide, open space where there is room to breathe. The temperature of this chapter is important. Sleep needs a drop in temperature. Your body naturally cools down when you drift off. Let the imagery of the ice help you. Feel a cool draft across your forehead. Feel the cool side of the pillow against your cheek. Imagine your feet touching the cool, smooth surface of a polished stone. The heat of the day is gone. The inflammation of stress is cooled by the touch of the Pleistocene. Listen to the sounds of the Ice Age. It is mostly silent, but occasionally you hear the deep groan of the ice settling. It is a sound like an old house settling at night, or a ship creaking in the ocean. It is a sound of weight shifting. Creak, groan, silence. These sounds are distant. They are muffled by the snow. Snow is the world's best soundproofing. It absorbs the noise. The world under the ice is a world without echoes, a world of intimate quiet. You are safe inside the glacier. You are like a stone trapped in the blue. You don't have to walk. You are being carried downhill by the flow. It will take 10,000 years to reach the bottom of the valley. You have plenty of time to nap. Think about the snout of the glacier, the end of the river ice. Here the ice is melting, drop by drop, drip, drip. The water that comes from a glacier is called glacial milk. It is milky white because of the rock flour. It is cold and opaque. It flows out into a still turquoise lake, a glacial lake. The water in this lake is perfectly still. It is like a mirror reflecting the white mountains and the blue sky. There is not a ripple on the surface. Float on that lake in your mind. The water is cold, but you are warm in your boat or on your raft. You are looking at the massive wall of ice that created this beauty. The glacier did the hard work, so you can enjoy the peace. It carved the valley. It filled the lake. Now it rests.
The Ice Age was a long winter for the Earth, a time of hibernation. Nature knows that in order to be reborn in the spring, it must rest in the winter. It must go dormant. It must sleep. You are in your own personal winter right now. The night is your Ice Age. It is time to go dormant. It is time to shut down the systems. It is time to let the ice cover the land. Don't resist the cold. Embrace the cool. Let it numb the little aches and pains. Let it freeze the racing thoughts. Freeze them in place. They will be there when the ice melts, but by then, they will be smoother. They will be smaller. The giant is sleeping. The white sheet covers the world. Everything is white. Everything is soft. Everything is still. The trees are gone. The buildings are gone. There is only the curve of the snow. The simplicity of the landscape is soothing. There is nothing to look at, nothing to analyze, just white and blue and sleep. Feel the slow, sliding sensation of falling asleep. It is just like the movement of the glacier. You are sliding down the slope of consciousness, moving deeper into the valley of dreams. It is irresistible. Gravity has you. The ice has you. You are moving imperceptibly slowly, but you are moving down toward the deep rest, down toward the quiet lake. The caress of the ice is gentle. It is a smoothing hand on your brow, cool, heavy, peaceful. The ice age closes in. The world goes quiet. The glacier sighs, settling into the bedrock for another 1,000 years. And you settle into your bed, carved out, smoothed down, cooled off, drifting on a river of ice, sleeping like a giant. Sleep. The cold blue light of the ice age fades behind us. The glaciers recede, melting back into the mists of history. The air around you begins to change. It loses its bite. It becomes dry, still, and pleasantly warm. We are traveling now to the heart of the American Southwest. We are going to a place that is perhaps the most famous geological cathedral on Earth, a place where the history of the world is not hidden underground, but opened up for all to see. We are standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon. But tonight, do not look at the canyon as a hole in the ground. Do not feel vertigo. Instead, look across it. Look at the other side, miles away. What you see is not chaos. What you see is perfect order. The Grand Canyon is a monument to horizontal lines. In the world of art and design, vertical lines represent action, standing, and striving. But horizontal lines represent rest. They represent lying down. They represent the horizon, the bed, the calm ocean. The canyon is a world of horizontal stripes painted in rust, cream, copper, and gold. It is the Earth's greatest bedtime story, written in stone, waiting to be read. The sun is setting. The harsh light of midday has softened into a golden hour that makes the rocks glow from within. The shadows are lengthening, stretching out like soft blankets across the cliffs. The air is perfectly still, holding the scent of dry sagebrush and sun-baked pine. Let us sit on the edge, dangling our feet over millions of years, and read the book. The subtitle of this chapter of Earth's history is stratigraphy. It means the study of layers, and the rule of layers is simple and comforting. The oldest things are at the bottom, and the youngest things are at the top. It is the law of superposition. It means that everything is in its right place. There is no jumble. History is stacked, one era neatly on top of another, like folded linens in a cedar chest. Look at the very top layer, the rim rock where we sit. This is the Kaibab limestone. It is a creamy white stone. Touch it. It is rough and warm. 270 million years ago, this high desert was not a desert at all. It was the bottom of a warm, shallow tropical sea. It was a paradise of quiet water. Imagine floating in that ancient sea. The sun is warm on your back. Beneath you, sponges and corals are growing slowly in the clear water. When those creatures died, they settled on the bottom, softly, gently,
like snowflakes falling in the ocean. They created a layer of lime mud. Over eons, that mud hardened into this limestone. By sitting here, you are sitting on the memory of a warm ocean. You are resting on a beach from before the dinosaurs. Now, let your eyes travel down. Below the cream-colored rim, there is a band of white and gold. This is the Coconino Sandstone. This layer tells a different story. The ocean retreated. The land became a vast desert of sand dunes like the Sahara. Imagine the wind blowing across those ancient dunes. Woo! It blew the sand into great drifts. Then the wind stopped. The sand settled. The grains locked together. This layer is essentially frozen wind. It is a moment of stillness that has lasted for 260 million years. It reminds us that even the shifting sands can find a place to stop. They can become a solid, quiet layer in the canyon of your mind. Look deeper. The colors change. We move into the deep reds and rusted oranges, the Hermit Shale and the Supai group. These red rocks act like a sunset that never fades. They hold the color of evening forever. These layers were formed by slow, sluggish rivers and swampy floodplains. Think of mud drying in the sun. Think of the slow, lazy flow of a river spreading out on flat land. There is no hurry in these layers. Mud does not rush. It sits, it dries, it hardens. The red color comes from iron, rust. It is the same iron that flows in your blood. You have a connection to these rocks. You are made of the same stardust, the same elemental ingredients. As we look down, layer by layer, we are looking back in time. 300 million years, 400 million years, 500 million years. The canyon walls are like a stack of heavy, warm blankets. Imagine that you are tucking the earth in. You place the red blanket over the purple one. You place the gold blanket over the red one. You place the cream blanket over the gold one. The weight of these layers is immense, but it is a good weight. It is the weight of security. The rocks at the bottom are holding up the rocks at the top. They have not moved. They have not crumbled. They are strong enough to carry the weight of history.
And you are strong enough to carry your history. You can let it settle. You can let it become a layer, pressing down, grounding you, creating a foundation for tomorrow. Way down at the bottom, deep in the shadows of the inner gorge, the river flows, the Colorado River. From up here, it looks like a thin silver ribbon. You can barely hear it. It is just a white noise, a faint shh that drifts up on the thermals. The river is the author of this book. It is the patient carver. For 6 million years, the river has been cutting through the rock, not with anger, but with persistence. Day and night, the water flows. It never stops. It wears away the stone, grain by grain, revealing the story hidden inside. The river teaches us that you don't need to be forceful to make a deep impact. You just need to keep flowing. You just need to keep going, one day at a time, one night at a time. Look at the very bottom of the gorge. The rocks there are dark, black, and twisted. These are the Vishnu schists. They are the basement rocks. They are nearly 2 billion years old. These rocks were here before complex life existed. They were here when the atmosphere had no oxygen. They have seen everything. They are the bedrock of the bedrock. Visualize the feeling of hitting bottom. In a sleep story, hitting bottom is a good thing.
It means you have reached the solid foundation. You have reached the mattress of the world. There is nowhere lower to go. You can stop falling. You can stop worrying. You are supported by the Vishnu schist, the oldest, hardest, strongest stone in the canyon. The sun has set now. The golden light has faded into a soft, bruised purple. The canyon is filling up with shadows. It fills up from the bottom like a cup filling with dark wine. The darkness rises slowly, covering the river, covering the basement rocks, covering the red cliffs. The details of the layers are fading. The stripes are merging into a single massive dark embrace. The stillness of the Grand Canyon at night is a physical force. It is a silence so big it swallows you whole. There are no city lights here. There is only the moon rising over the rim, casting a pale silver light on the white limestone. The layers are sleeping. The limestone sleeps, dreaming of its ancient ocean. The sandstone sleeps, dreaming of its ancient desert. The shale sleeps, dreaming of its ancient river. And you are just another layer. Imagine you are lying flat, just like the strata. You are horizontal. You are aligned with the earth. You are adding your own layer of peace to the stack. Tonight is a layer. Tomorrow will be another layer. Stacked gently, compressed softly. Feel the gravity of the canyon pulling you down, not into a hole, but into a bed. The deeper you go, the further back in time you travel. Back to a time before you had a name. Back to a time before you had worries. Back to the simple elemental existence of stone and water. The book is closing now. The pages are all red. The story of the earth is a story of settling down. Things float around, then they settle. They drift, then they bond. They become rock. Let your body become rock. Heavy, warm, still. Let the blankets of time cover you. One layer of red, one layer of gold, one layer of white. You are safe in the geological library. The Grand Canyon holds you in its vast, quiet, horizontal hands, reading the layers, resting on the rim, drifting into the deep. Sleep. We have read the layers of the Grand Canyon like pages in a book. We have seen how the earth stacks time, layer upon layer, blanket upon blanket. But now we must look closer. We must look at the words written on those pages. We are going to zoom in. Leave the vast open vistas of the canyon behind. Bring your focus to a single point, a single stone. Imagine you are holding a piece of smooth gray limestone in your hand. It feels cool, like all stone does. It is heavy and dense, but as you run your thumb over the surface, you feel a texture, a ridge, a spiral, a small perfect star. You are touching a fossil. To understand fossils is to understand the ultimate form of relaxation, the pause. Life is usually defined by movement. It is chaotic. It is fast. Hearts beat, lungs expand, fins swim in the water, leaves flutter in the wind. Life is a constant expenditure of energy. But a fossil is what happens when that energy is captured and turned into stillness. It is the moment when the biological chaos stops and the geological peace begins. Let us travel back 400 million years. We are in the American Midwest, but it is not a land of cornfields and highways. It is a shallow, tropical inland sea. The water is turquoise and crystal clear.
The sun filters down through the gentle waves, creating a dancing net of light on the sandy bottom. Here, a creature lives. Let's imagine a simple ammonite, a creature with a beautiful spiral shell, like a coiled rope or a galaxy spun into stone. It floats through the warm water. It is busy. It is alive. But then its time comes to an end. This is not a sad moment. It is simply the end of a cycle. The ammonite drifts down. Drift. 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 It settles softly on the ocean floor. The sand is soft. The silt is like velvet. The shell lands with a silent puff of dust, resting on the seabed. And then the blanket is pulled up. Sediment, fine, soft mud, begins to cover the shell. It happens slowly, one grain at a time. It is a gentle burial. The shell is being tucked in for a sleep that will last an eternity. The darkness closes in. The water above continues to flow, but down here in the mud, everything stops. The shell is safe now. Nothing can disturb it. No predator can reach it. No storm can toss it. It is held in the tight, comforting embrace of the earth. Now the magic begins, the alchemy of time. This is the part that should soothe your soul tonight. Permineralization. It's a big word, but the concept is beautiful. It means turning to stone. Groundwater, rich with minerals like silica and calcite, begins to seep through the pores of the shell. It flows into the empty spaces. Molecule by molecule, the organic material, the part that was fragile, the part that could decay, is washed away. And in its place, the water leaves behind a mineral, a crystal. Think of it as a replacement. The chaos of biology is replaced by the order of geology. The fleeting is replaced by the permanent. Imagine this happening to your own thoughts right now. Imagine your worries are organic. They are buzzing, active, fragile. Now imagine a warm, mineral-rich water flowing through your mind. It washes away the worry, and in its place, it leaves a stone of peace. It washes away the planning, and in its place, it leaves a crystal of silence. You are undergoing permineralization. You are becoming heavy. You are becoming still. The ammonite is no longer a shell. It is now a rock. It has kept its shape perfectly. The spiral is still there. The ridges are still there. But the substance has changed. It has become eternal.
Millions of years pass. The ocean dries up. The seabed becomes a cliff. And here we are, back in the present, holding that stone. When you look at a fossil, you are looking at a stopped clock. You are looking at a specific second in history that was frozen and saved forever. There is a profound silence in limestone. Limestone is made almost entirely of these ancient creatures, corals, crinoids, shells. When you walk past a limestone building or a limestone cliff, you are walking past a cemetery of the sea. But it is not a spooky place. It is a peaceful place. It is a monument to life that has found its rest. Think about the phrase, carved in stone. We use it to mean something that cannot be changed. Fossils teach us that once you settle down, once you let go, you become unchangeable. You become solid. The anxieties of the Cretaceous period are gone. The hunger of the Jurassic is gone. The fear of the Devonian is gone. All that remains is the shape, the beauty, the structure. The stone remembers the shape of the life, but it has forgotten the stress of the life. You can do the same tonight. You can remember who you are. You can keep your shape, but you can forget the stress. You can let the heavy minerals of sleep fill your veins. Visualize the spiral of the ammonite again. Spirals are hypnotic. Start at the outside of the shell and follow the curve inward with your mind's eye. Round and round, getting smaller, getting tighter, moving toward the center. The center of the spiral is the point of zero motion. The outside of the wheel turns fast, but the center is still. Follow the fossil down into the center. Inward, inward, still. You are now in the center of the stone. The world outside is wind and noise, but inside the limestone it is just mass. Dense, cool, quiet mass. This preservation is a gift. The earth loved these creatures so much it decided to keep them. It decided to make a copy of them in stone so they would never be lost. You are safe in the memory of the earth. Imagine lying on a slab of sun-warmed limestone. You can feel the texture of the fossils underneath you, tiny bumps and ridges. They are the echoes of the ancient ocean. If you listen very closely with the ear of a dreamer, you can hear the ocean in the rock. Not the crashing waves of the surface, but the deep, muffled silence of the bottom. Hum. It is a white noise made of time. It acts like a sound machine for your soul, blocking out the modern world. Your body is heavy now. Your legs feel like fossilized logs, petrified wood, solid and heavy on the mattress. Your ribs are like the arches of the ancient coral reef, stationary and strong. Your skull is a geode, protecting the quiet thoughts inside. You are no longer a creature of the air. You are a creature of the sediment. You have settled. The mud has covered you. The blanket is thick. You are waiting for the mineralization of sleep to take over, to turn your muscles to stone, just for the night, to make you immovable. There is no need to twitch, no need to turn. A fossil does not toss and turn. A fossil accepts its position. It trusts the rock around it. Trust your bed. Trust the floor beneath it. Trust the foundation. Trust the bedrock. We are all just echoes in the limestone. We are all part of this long, slow story. And the best part of the story is the rest. The millions of years where nothing happened. The long, quiet gap between the life and the discovery. Be in that gap. Be in the waiting. The ammonite sleeps in the cliff. The fern sleeps in the coal. The coral sleeps in the marble. And you sleep in the room, turning organic chaos into eternal stillness, turning the day into the night, turning the thought into the dream. Let the stone take the weight. Let the fossil hold the memory. You are free to float away, or free to sink down, down into the beautiful, gray, silent stone, preserved, perfect, peaceful. We have explored the solid rock. We have touched the dry, fossilized remnants of the ancient seas. We have seen how the earth preserves the past in stone. But the earth is not just rock. The earth is not just dry land. Beneath the solid foundation you are resting on, beneath the concrete of the city and the soil of the farm, there is a secret. There is a hidden world that flows in total silence. Tonight, we seek the aquifer. We seek the river beneath the world. When we think of rivers, we think of the Mississippi or the Colorado, rushing, noisy, churning waters that reflect the sun. But the true lifeblood of the continents lies deep underground, where the sun never shines and the wind never blows. Let your mind sink down again. Pass through the floor, pass through the basement, pass through the topsoil, where the roots of the grass are tangled in sleep. Go deeper into the bedrock. You might imagine that underground water looks like a cave, a dark cavern with a rushing stream at the bottom. And sometimes, in rare places, it does. But the true aquifers, the great reservoirs of the world, are much more comforting than that. They are not open caverns, they are solid rock that is soaking wet. Imagine a giant sponge made of stone. This is the saturation zone. It is a place where every tiny pore, every microscopic crack in the limestone or sandstone is filled with crystal clear water. We are going to visit the king of these hidden seas, the Ogallala Aquifer. It lies beneath the Great Plains of America, stretching from South Dakota all the way down to Texas. Above it, there are miles of golden wheat and corn waving in the wind, but below it, there is a silent ocean that has been waiting there since the last ice age. Imagine you are a single drop of water in this vast, hidden sea. You are not rushing. You are not crashing against a shore. In fact, you are barely moving at all. Surface rivers are fast. They are frantic. They race to the ocean. But groundwater? Groundwater knows the meaning of slow. The water in the aquifer moves at a speed that is almost impossible to perceive. It travels through the rock at a rate of perhaps 1 foot per day, sometimes only 1 foot per year. This is the ultimate slow flow. Sync your breathing to this speed. Inhale, exhale. 1 foot per year. There is no urgency here. The water that you are swimming in fell as rain 10,000 years ago. It fell on a day that mammoths walked the plains. It seeped into the ground, escaping the evaporation of the sun, and it has been traveling safely in the dark ever since. Think of the quality of this water. It is cool. It is perfectly consistent. The temperature down here never changes. It is not affected by the scorching summer heat or the freezing winter blizzards above. It is permanently, pleasantly cool. And it is pure. This is one of the most relaxing facts of geology. The earth is a filter. As water trickles down from the surface, passing through layers of sand, clay, and gravel, it is scrubbed clean. The earth removes the impurities. It removes the dust. It filters out the chaos. By the time the water reaches the deep aquifer, it is pristine. It is the cleanest substance on the planet. Imagine your mind is being filtered like this water.
Imagine your thoughts trickling down through layers of cooling sand. The stress is caught in the filter. The noise is caught in the gravel. The worry is left behind in the clay. Only the pure, clear awareness reaches the deep level. Only the part of you that is calm and quiet makes it to the aquifer. You are purified. You are clear. It is pitch black down here, but it is not a scary darkness. It is a velvety, protective darkness. It is the darkness of the womb. It is the darkness of deep space. There is no light to hurt your eyes. There is no visual stimulation. There is only the sensation of being held.
The water pressure here is immense, but like the mantle, it is a supportive pressure. It holds you up. Imagine the sheer size of the Ogallala. It contains enough water to fill Lake Huron. It is a sleeping giant of liquid. If you are lying in bed in the Midwest right now, this water is beneath you. It is flowing silently under your house, under your street, under your town. It is a secret river that connects everyone, yet no one sees it. Listen to the sound of the aquifer. Can you hear it? No. That is the point. There is no sound. A surface river roars. An underground river is silent. It flows without friction. It flows without turbulence. It is the embodiment of still waters run deep. This water is patient. It is holding the memory of the ancient world. It is waiting for the moment it might bubble up in a spring, crystal clear and cold, offering life to the surface. But it is in no rush to get there. It is content to stay in the dark. Are you content to stay in the dark? Can you embrace the quiet of your room? Can you embrace the stillness of the night? You don't need to be bubbling up right now. You don't need to be productive. You don't need to be flowing fast. You can just be groundwater, held in the stone, cool, quiet. Think about the journey of a single drop of rain entering this system. It hits the ground, plip. It sinks into the soil. It travels down a root of a prairie grass. It moves past a sleeping worm. It enters the sandy loam. It enters the gravel. It hits the water table, splashless entry. It joins the collective. It becomes part of the great slow drift toward the south, drifting, seeping, percolating. These are gentle words, soft words. Let them massage your brain. Percolate, seep, saturate. You are saturated with sleepiness. Your body feels heavy, as if it is filled with this heavy, cool water. Your limbs are waterlogged in the best possible way. They are too heavy to lift. They are anchored to the bed. The river beneath the world is a river of dreams. It flows underneath the consciousness of the day. When you sleep, you tap into this river. You lower a bucket down into the well of your subconscious, down into the aquifer of your dreams. The water there is strange and deep, but it is refreshing. It restores you. If you don't visit the well, you get thirsty. You get dry. You need this deep water. So let yourself sink. Imagine the bedrock cradling this water, a bowl of impervious stone that keeps the water from being lost to the core. The earth is holding a cup of water for you. Drink from it. Drink in the silence. The Ogallala is not the only one. There are aquifers everywhere, under the Sahara Desert, under the Amazon, under the rock of Manhattan. The whole world is floating on these hidden cushions of water. It makes the ground feel softer, doesn't it? Knowing that deep down there is flow. Knowing that deep down nothing is rigid. The rock drinks the water. The water becomes the rock. It is a perfect union, wet stone. Let your mind become wet stone, cool, dark, and heavy. There are no rapids here, no waterfalls, just the slow molecular creep of water moving toward the sea. It might take 1,000 years to get there, and that is perfectly fine. There is no deadline in geology. There is no clock in the aquifer. There is only the wet and the dark and the cool. You are floating in the pore space of the planet. You are a droplet of ancient rain. You are safe. The river flows beneath you, carrying away the heat of the day, carrying away the noise of the world, leaving you on the bank, high and dry and warm, ready to sleep. Or perhaps you are drifting with it, going with the flow, the slow, slow flow, under the fields, under the hills, under the world, deep, silent, asleep. We have journeyed deep into the earth, floating in the dark aquifers and resting on the fossilized seabeds. Now we must turn our attention upward. We must look to the sky to understand the ground. You are lying in your bed. The room is dark. Outside your window, the world is asleep. But if you were to look out, you might see the source of our next story, the moon. It hangs in the sky, a silent, glowing orb of white stone. We know the moon well. We know it poles the oceans. We have stood on the beach and watched the high tide roll in, commanded by that distant circle of light. We accept that water is fluid, that it obeys the moon. But tonight, we are going to learn a deeper, quieter truth. The land obeys the moon too. The ground beneath you feels solid. The floor feels rigid. The foundation of your home feels immovable. But
Imagine your thoughts trickling down through layers of cooling sand. The stress is caught in the filter. The noise is caught in the gravel. The worry is left behind in the clay. Only the pure, clear awareness reaches the deep level. Only the part of you that is calm and quiet makes it to the aquifer. You are purified. You are clear. It is pitch black down here, but it is not a scary darkness. It is a velvety, protective darkness. It is the darkness of the womb. It is the darkness of deep space. There is no light to hurt your eyes. There is no visual stimulation. There is only the sensation of being held. The water pressure here is immense, but like the mantle, it is a supportive pressure. It holds you up. Imagine the sheer size of the Ogallala. It contains enough water to fill Lake Huron. It is a sleeping giant of liquid. If you are lying in bed in the Midwest right now, this water is beneath you. It is flowing silently under your house, under your street, under your town. It is a secret river that connects everyone, yet no one sees it. Listen to the sound of the aquifer. Can you hear it? No. That is the point. There is no sound. A surface river roars. An underground river is silent. It flows without friction. It flows without turbulence. It is the embodiment of still waters run deep. This water is patient. It is holding the memory of the ancient world. It is waiting for the moment it might bubble up in a spring, crystal clear and cold, offering life to the surface. But it is in no rush to get there. It is content to stay in the dark. Are you content to stay in the dark? Can you embrace the quiet of your room? Can you embrace the stillness of the night? You don't need to be bubbling up right now. You don't need to be productive. You don't need to be flowing fast. You can just be groundwater, held in the stone, cool, quiet. Think about the journey of a single drop of rain entering this system. It hits the ground, plip. It sinks into the soil. It travels down a root of a prairie grass. It moves past a sleeping worm. It enters the sandy loam. It enters the gravel. It hits the water table,
splashless entry. It joins the collective. It becomes part of the great slow drift toward the south, drifting.
Seeping, percolating. These are gentle words, soft words. Let them massage your brain. Percolate, seep, saturate. You are saturated with sleepiness. Your body feels heavy, as if it is filled with this heavy, cool water. Your limbs are waterlogged in the best possible way. They are too heavy to lift. They are anchored to the bed. The river beneath the world is a river of dreams. It flows underneath the consciousness of the day. When you sleep, you tap into this river. You lower a bucket down into the well of your subconscious, down into the aquifer of your dreams. The water there is strange and deep, but it is refreshing. It restores you. If you don't visit the well, you get thirsty, you get dry. You need this deep water, so let yourself sink. Imagine the bedrock cradling this water, a bowl of impervious stone that keeps the water from being lost to the core. The earth is holding a cup of water for you. Drink from it. Drink in the silence. The Ogallala is not the only one. There are aquifers everywhere, under the Sahara Desert, under the Amazon, under the rock of Manhattan. The whole world is floating on these hidden cushions of water. It makes the ground feel softer, doesn't it? Knowing that deep down there is flow. Knowing that deep down nothing is rigid. The rock drinks the water becomes the rock. It is a perfect union, wet stone. Let your mind become wet stone, cool, dark, and heavy. There are no rapids here, no waterfalls, just the slow molecular creep of water moving toward the sea. It might take 1,000 years to get there, and that is perfectly fine. There is no deadline in geology. There is no clock in the aquifer. There is only the wet, and the dark, and the cool. You are floating in the pore space of the planet. You are a droplet of ancient rain. You are safe. The river flows beneath you, carrying away the heat of the day, carrying away the noise of the world, leaving you on the bank, high and dry and warm, ready to sleep. Or perhaps you are drifting with it, going with the flow, the slow, slow flow, under the fields, under the hills, under the world, deep, silent, asleep. We have journeyed deep into the earth, floating in the dark aquifers and resting on the fossilized seabeds. Now we must turn our attention upward. We must look to the sky to understand the ground. You are lying in your bed. The room is dark. Outside your window, the world is asleep. But if you were to look out, you might see the source of our next story, the moon. It hangs in the sky, a silent, glowing orb of white stone. We know the moon well. We know it pulls the oceans. We have stood on the beach and watched the high tide roll in, commanded by that distant circle of light. We accept that water is fluid, that it obeys the moon. But tonight, we are going to learn a deeper, quieter truth. The land obeys the moon too. The ground beneath you feels solid. The floor feels rigid. The foundation of your home feels immovable. But this is an illusion. The earth is not a block of frozen concrete. The earth is elastic. It is flexible. It is soft. Tonight, we explore the earth tides. Imagine a visible thread of silver light connecting the moon to the center of the earth. It is a tether of gravity. It is a bond that cannot be broken.
As the moon travels across the night sky, passing silently over your continent, it pulls on that tether. It does not just pull the water, it grabs the crust of the planet, the mountains, the cities, the bedrock, the very soil in your backyard, and it lifts it up. You are being lifted right now. It is a movement so gentle, so large, and so slow that you cannot feel it with your balance, but you can feel it with your imagination. Twice a day, every day, the solid ground rises and falls. When the moon is overhead, the ground beneath your bed stretches upward. It bulges toward the sky. How much? About 12 inches, a whole foot. Think about that. The entire city of New York, the heavy granite of the Rocky Mountains, the vast plains of the Midwest, they all rise a foot into the air, silently, and then slowly settle back down as the moon passes. It is the breathing of the world. Inhale. The moon approaches. The ground lifts. Exhale. The moon passes. The ground settles. Let your own breathing sync with this planetary rhythm. Inhale slowly. Imagine your chest rising. At the same time, imagine the crust of the earth rising to meet the stars. Exhale slowly. Feel your chest sinking into the mattress. Feel the ground sinking back into its resting place. This is not a chaotic shaking. This is not an earthquake. It is a smooth, harmonic wave. It travels across the globe like a ripple under a rug, but the rug is made of stone. This tells us something profound about the nature of reality. Nothing is as hard as it seems. Even the hardest rock, under the gentle persuasion of the moon, becomes soft. It stretches, it yields, it lets go. You are being rocked to sleep. When we rock a baby, we move them gently, up and down, back and forth. We mimic the motion of the womb. The earth is rocking you. It is a very slow rocking, one rise and fall every 12 hours, but it is there. You are in the cradle of gravity. Visualize the moon gliding silently over the American landscape. It passes over the Atlantic Ocean, pulling the water. Then it hits the coast. It pulls the Appalachian Mountains. They bow to the moon, lifting their green peaks just a fraction higher. It passes over the Mississippi River. The valley floor rises gently, carrying the river with it. It passes over the house where you are sleeping. For a few hours tonight, you are lighter. The gravity of the moon is trying to pick you up, trying to float you toward the ceiling. It counters the gravity of the earth just enough to make you feel weightless. You are caught in a cosmic tug of war, but it is a gentle game. The earth holds you down. The moon pulls you up. The result is a feeling of suspension, floating, hovering, drifting. This phenomenon is also called the body tide. The body of the planet is reacting. Think of the silence of this movement. If you lift a stone cup and put it down, it makes a sound, clink. But the earth lifts trillions of tons of stone, and it makes no sound at all. It is a silent symphony of physics. Rise, pause, fall. The moon is the conductor. It moves its baton slowly across the sky, and the continents obey. There is a beautiful connection here between the stone above, the moon, and the stone below, the earth. They are dancing. They are partners. The moon is tidally locked to us, showing us only one face. It watches us as we sleep. It is the nightlight that never turns off. As you lie there, imagine the microscopic spaces between the grains of sand in the sandstone or the crystals in the granite deep below you. As the tide rises, those spaces open up just a tiny bit. The rock takes a deep breath. As the tide falls, the spaces close. The rock exhales. The whole world is sighing with relief. Ah. The tension of the day is released in that sigh. This has been happening for 4.5 billion years. Before there was life, before there was water, the moon was pulling on the molten rock of the young earth, creating tides of lava. Now, the rock is cool and hard, but the memory remains. The rhythm remains. It is the oldest rhythm we know. Older than the heartbeat, older than the seasons, the rhythm of the orbit. Allow yourself to feel small. Usually, feeling small is scary, but tonight it is comforting. You are a tiny passenger on a massive, breathing sphere. You don't have to drive the sphere. You don't have to steer the moon. The mechanics of the universe are functioning perfectly without your help. You can resign as the general manager of the universe for the night. The tides will happen whether you worry or not. The ground will rise whether you are awake or asleep. So you might as well sleep. Feel the moonlight filtering into the room. Even if your blinds are closed, the energy is there. It is a cool, silver energy. It feels like a liquid pouring over the roof, sliding down the walls, pooling on the floor. But remember, the floor is rising to meet it. Lift and lower. It is hypnotic. It is like being on a very large, very slow boat on a very calm sea. The swell is hardly refreshing, but it is there. You are sailing through the night on the ship of the earth. The moon is your lighthouse. Your body is made of water and earth. You are 70% water, but your bones are made of minerals. So the moon pulls on you too. It pulls on the tides of your blood. It pulls on the calcium in your bones. You are part of the tide. You are connected to the celestial cycle. You are not separate from the stars. You are in the mix. Let that connection ground you. You belong here. You belong to this rhythm. The tide of stone is at its peak now. You are at the highest point of the night. You are closest to the stars. And now, slowly, ever so slowly, the descent begins. The moon moves on. It heads west toward the Pacific. The ground begins to settle. The mattress sinks deeper. Your head sinks deeper into the pillow. The relaxation deepens as the tide goes out. The tension drains away with the gravity. Going, going, gone. The earth is settling down for the rest of the night. It has taken its deep breath. Now it holds it. Stillness returns. The solid earth feels solid again, but now you know its secret. You know it is gentle. You know it is soft. You are sleeping on a breathing creature, a creature that rocks you, a creature that holds you. The moon watches from the west. The sun waits in the east. But here in the center, there is only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the stone. 1 foot up, 1 foot down, breathing in the dark, breathing with the planet. Let the tides carry you away, drifting on the solid waves of the world. Sleep. We have felt the ground rise and fall with the moon. We have drifted in the aquifers and touched the cold crystal hearts of geodes. We have explored the physical body of the earth. But now, as we near the end of our journey, we must also explore the mind of the earth. We're going to talk about time. In our daily lives, time is a source of tension. It is a thing of scarcity. We watch the clock on the wall. We count the minutes until an appointment. We worry about being late. We worry about losing time, wasting time, running out of time. Our time is measured in seconds, and seconds are sharp little things that prick at our peace. Tick, tick, tick. Tonight, I want you to take that clock off the wall of your mind. Take the batteries out. The hands stop moving. The ticking stops. We're going to replace human time with deep time. Deep time is the concept that the earth is so old, so vast, and so enduring that the human mind can barely comprehend it. But we don't need to comprehend it to find comfort in it. We just need to feel its weight. Imagine a timeline stretching before you.
If the history of the Earth were a single day, starting at midnight and ending at midnight, humans would not appear until the very last second before the clock strikes 12. Everything else, the cooling of the magma, the formation of the oceans, the drift of the continents, the rise of the dinosaurs, happened in the long, quiet hours of the morning and the afternoon. This perspective is not meant to make you feel small in a lonely way. It is meant to make you feel small in a liberated way. If our entire history is just a second, think about how small your bad day was. Think about how microscopic that embarrassing moment was. Think about how tiny that deadline is. Against the backdrop of 4.5 billion years, your worries are invisible. They dissolve. They cannot carry any weight because the scale is too big. Deep time is a solvent. It dissolves anxiety. Let us sit on a metaphorical rock. Let's say it is a piece of granite in the Sierra Nevada. This rock is 100 million years old. Sit with it. This rock was here before the invention of the internet. It was here before the first word was spoken. It sat in the sun. It sat in the rain. It sat under the ice. It sat in the dark. It did not worry about the future. It did not regret the past. It simply existed. It is the ultimate stoic. By touching this rock in your mind, you are touching a stability that cannot be shaken by the headlines of the day. The rock tells you, I have seen worlds end and worlds begin. I have seen fire and ice, and I am still here. And you are here with me. It is going to be okay. There is a profound comfort in being insignificant. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be important, to be productive, to fix things. But geology tells us you don't have to fix the world. The world is taking care of itself. It changes at its own pace. You can set down the burden of the world. It is too heavy for you, and honestly, the earth doesn't need you to carry it. The tectonic plates are holding it up just fine. Breathe in the relief of that realization. Inhale, I am small. Exhale, I am free. Think of the eras we have visited: the Hadean, the Archean, the Proterozoic, the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, the Cenozoic. Say those names slowly in your mind. They sound like heavy velvet curtains closing one by one. Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. Each era is a chapter that lasted for millions of years. There is so much room in deep time. There is no crowding. In your daily life, your schedule is crowded. But in deep time, there are million-year gaps where nothing happened but the wind blowing over red sand. Go to that gap. Find a quiet century between the Triassic and the Jurassic, a century where the sun rose and set, and the ferns grew, and the rain fell,
and there was absolutely no news. Rest in that century. There's a philosophy in geology called uniformitarianism. It means that the processes happening today are the same ones that happened in the past. The rain falling outside your window is the same rain that fell on the trilobites. The wind shaking the leaves is the same wind that pushed the sailing stones of the desert. You are connected to the deep past by these simple acts. Sleeping is a geological act. Every creature has slept. The dinosaurs slept. The early mammals curled in their burrows slept. When you close your eyes, you are joining a tradition that goes back to the beginning of consciousness. You are doing exactly what you are supposed to do. You are not wasting time by sleeping. You are participating in the rhythm of the planet. Imagine the Earth as a spaceship that has been flying through the universe for 4.5 billion years. It is a very safe ship. It has a thick hull of crust. It has a shield of atmosphere. It has a magnetic field protecting us from the solar wind. It has survived meteorite impacts, supervolcanoes, and solar flares. It will survive your Tuesday. It will survive your Wednesday. The sheer endurance of the planet is a lullaby. It promises continuity. The sun will rise tomorrow. Gravity will hold you down. The air will be there to breathe. The basics are covered. You can stop micromanaging your survival. The system is robust. Let your mind expand. Usually, our minds are tight, focused on the now. Stretch your mind backward. Stretch it back 1,000 years, back 1,000,000 years, back 1,000,000,000 years. Feel the space opening up. It feels like walking out of a cramped room into a vast open cathedral. There is silence here. The echo of your thoughts fades away in the vastness. Deep time is a soft pillow. It is made of layers of memory, but they are soft, blurred memories. The sharp edges of history have been eroded away, leaving only the smooth curve of time. You are floating in the river of time. You are not swimming against the current. You are not trying to get upstream. You are floating on your back, looking up at the stars. The stars, too, are geologists of a sort. They operate on the same timeline. The light from the stars has taken millions of years to reach you. When you look at the night sky, you are looking into the past. Everything around you is anchored in the deep past. Your DNA is a text written over millions of years. Your bones are built from the dust of ancient stars. You belong to deep time. You are not a temporary visitor. You are part of the fabric. Let go of the Anthropocene, the human era. Let go of the noise. Let go of the urgency. Sink into the eon. An eon is the longest unit of geological time. Just the word sounds sleepy. Eon. Eon. It sounds like a hum, a long, low vibration. Allow the vastness to wrap around you like a warm night. The problems of today are just ripples on the surface of a very deep ocean. You are sinking below the ripples, down into the still water, down where the water has not moved for an age. There is comfort in knowing that you are just a small part of a great story. You don't have to write the whole book. You just have to live your sentence. And right now, your sentence is a quiet one. Your sentence is, and then they went to sleep. It is a good sentence. It is a necessary sentence. The rocks are sleeping.
The fossils are sleeping. The magma is sleeping. The timeline stretches out behind you, a long, comforting road. It stretches out ahead of you into the mists of the future. But you are here, in this breath, in this moment, held by the billions of moments that came before. You are supported by the ancestors. You are supported by the history. You are supported by the earth. Let the modern world fade. It is just a flash of light. The real world
is the dark, slow, ancient world, the world of deep time. Return to that world. Return to the slow pulse. Feel the relief washing over you. Nothing matters right now except the rest. The rest is the only thing that is real. Drift on the ocean of time. Safe, small, infinite. Sleep. We have come to the end of our journey. We have traveled through the library of stones. We have floated on the magma of the Hadean Eon. We have listened to the million-year rain. We have felt the continents drift, the mountains rise, and the glaciers slide. We have descended into the warm mantle and ascended to the moonlit tides. But now the traveling is over. The exploration is finished. It is time to come home. It is time to return to the here and now. But you are returning different than you left. You are returning with the weight of the world, not a burden, but a ballast. You are returning with the knowledge of deep time. Bring your awareness back to your immediate surroundings. Feel the soft fabric of the sheets against your skin. Feel the pillow supporting your head. Feel the mattress beneath your back. But do not stop at the mattress. Tonight, I want you to feel what is underneath the mattress. Visualize the floor of your room. Beneath that, the beams and the foundation of the building. Beneath that, the soil, the dark, rich earth where the roots of the trees are sleeping. And beneath the soil, waiting there in the eternal dark, is the bedrock. It is the solid, unbroken crust of the continent. It is the shelf upon which your life rests. Imagine that your bed is not floating in a room, but is resting directly on this bedrock. You are lying on the granite shield of the earth. This is the ultimate foundation. It has not moved for 1 billion years. It is not going to move tonight. It is the definition of stability. Let yourself sink down to meet it. In your mind, dissolve the bed, dissolve the floor. There is nothing separating you from the earth anymore. You are making contact, earth to earth. Feel the magnetic pole of the planet. It is a heavy, loving gravity that wants to hold you close. It is pulling every muscle in your body downward. Let us do a final geological scan of your body, turning your biology into geology, turning the temporary into the permanent. Focus on your feet. They are no longer restless. They are the roots of a mountain. They are anchored deep in the ground, heavy and immovable. Feel the heaviness spreading through your toes, your arches, your heels. They are turning to stone, not cold stone, but warm, sun-baked sandstone, heavy, still. Move your focus to your legs. Your calves and your thighs are the thick, sedimentary layers we saw in the canyon. They are stacked with the weight of relaxation, layer upon layer of muscle letting go. The tension is draining out of them, flowing down into the earth like groundwater, leaving only the solid rock behind. Focus on your hips and your spine. This is your personal tectonic plate. It is the axis of your world. Let it settle. Sometimes old houses settle in the night with a creak. Let your bones settle. Let your spine align with the horizon. You are flat. You are level. You are grounded. Focus on your hands and arms. They are resting by your sides, heavy as iron ore. They have done enough work for the day. They have grasped and carried and typed and held. Now they are empty, they are open, they are like stones resting on a riverbed, letting the current of the night flow over them. Focus on your chest and your breath. Your breathing is the wind moving through the canyon. It is slow, it is rhythmic. Whoosh in, whoosh out. It is the only movement left in your body. Every exhalation is a little bit of dust blowing away, leaving the rock cleaner and clearer. Focus on your head. Your skull is the geode, the protective shell. Inside, your mind is the crystal garden. The thoughts have stopped buzzing. They have crystallized into beautiful, still patterns. There is no noise inside the geode, only the purple twilight of sleep. You are now one with the geology. You are not a person trying to sleep. You are a landscape at rest. You are the mountain after the storm has passed. You are the desert after the wind has died down. You are the ocean after the tide has gone out. You are solid. This is the concept of fossilized sleep. Think of the ammonite we held earlier. It has been sleeping for 400 million years. It hasn't moved, it hasn't worried, it has just been held by the stone. Tonight, you are the fossil. Imagine the sediment of sleep falling softly over you. It is a warm, soft dust. It covers your feet. It covers your legs. It covers your torso. It is a weighted blanket made of time. It tucks you in. It fills the empty spaces. It supports the curve of your neck. It weighs down your eyelids. Heavy, heavy, heavy. You are being preserved. You are being kept safe in the strata of the night. The world outside continues to spin, but you are no longer spinning with it. You are locked in the bedrock. You are anchored. The storms can blow above you, but they cannot reach you underground. The noise of the city can happen above you, but it cannot penetrate the stone. You are deep. You are so deep. You are miles beneath the surface now, down where the earth is warm, down where the silence is physical. There is nothing left to do. The history of the world has already happened. The history of tomorrow hasn't been written yet. There is only this moment of suspension, the now, the geological now. Feel the profound relief of giving up control. You don't have to hold the earth up, it holds you up. You don't have to keep the sun burning. You don't have to keep the rivers flowing. You just have to lie there and be heavy. Gravity is your blanket. Time is your pillow. Silence is your lullaby. Let us revisit the library of ancient stones one last time. Imagine the lights in the library are going out, one by one. The light on the shelf of volcanoes. Click, off. The light on the shelf of oceans. Click, off. The light on the shelf of glaciers. Click, off. The light on the shelf of canyons. Click, off. The great hall is dark. The only light left is the soft inner glow of your own rest. The librarian of the earth closes the heavy wooden doors. Thud. The sound echoes and fades into silence. The book is closed. The story is told. You are part of the story now. You are a chapter called rest. Allow yourself to drift into the gray. Not black, but gray, the color of slate, the color of mist, the color of sleep. Your breathing is so shallow now, so quiet, you are barely there. You have merged. You are rock. You are water. You are time. The bedrock holds you. It promises to keep you safe until the sun comes up. It promises to be there when you wake. But for now, it asks for nothing. It just asks you to stay. Stay down. Stay heavy. The drift is taking over. You are floating on the tectonic tide, drifting away from the shore of wakefulness, drifting out into the open sea of dreams. There are no maps where you are going. There are no clocks. There are no words. There is only the deep, rhythmic pulse of the earth. Thump, thump. Can you hear it? It is the heartbeat of the planet. And now it is your heartbeat too. Slow, steady, eternal. You are resting on the foundation of the universe. You are home. Let go of the last grain of sand. Let go of the last drop of water. Sink into the stone. Sink into the fossil. Sink into the deep. Resting on the bedrock. Heavy, safe, asleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep.